This report is sponsored by KFC. KFC's new smashed potato bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, and bacon come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger-licking good.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900 and always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. on Fox Sports 910.
Well, the Phoenix Suns never trailed during a 121-13 win over the Toronto Raptors at the Footprint Center last night. The NBA All-Star game, folks, is headed back to the desert, and the Arizona Coyotes surrendered 4 goals in third period in a 5-2 loss to the Minnesota Wild at the Mullet Arena. Welcome in, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota. I'm Dan Minucci. That's Jackson Groff, and that is Chris Schubert back at the iHeart Studios. We are going to be bringing you all the love from Wright Toyota. Finally, it's Friday, as I like to say, folks. It's always Football Friday in the Valley of the Sun. Shu, you all ready to go back there at the iHeart Studios? All good to go, all dialed in?
All the buttons seem to be working so far, gentlemen, so should be a good Friday show.
Okay, well, keep us on track. And then, Jax, look at you here at least a whole hour early prepping. Are you good to go over there?
Yeah, I got the call early last night from the practice squad, made my in here. I guess today's kind of my pro day, so I'm looking forward to it. We got 3 hours and a lot to talk about. Suns, some NFL talk, free agency on Monday. It's all hectic, but glad to be here with you.
You know, we got a great show for you as far as guests. Chris Dobertine, he is like one of the bracketologist extraordinaires. He's going to join us at 1:30, folks, and kind of give you a little bit of what he sees it as of now, as you have several conference championships going on. We got the Big Sky going on this week, and then next week it's the balance of them. And then after that Sunday afternoon, let the bracketology exist as things start to get set up. We'll go to Vegas, catch up with Scott Spreitzer, get his thoughts on some of the NBA games going on tonight, this weekend, and some of those vitally important college games. And last but not least, we'll go to Salt Lake City. Our good buddy, he is the TV color analyst for the GCU Lopes. That'd be Scott Williams. And I also want to get his thoughts on this Suns team. So we've got a plethora of stuff going on, and always come on down to Wright Toyota, right on the price, right on the corner. All right, Shu, let's fire that bad boy up. Let's get going.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, Jax, when I look at this, there was just a nice little business outing by the Suns. They just took care of business. They never trailed in the 121-13 win over the Raptors last night. Had a 14-point lead after the first quarter and never looked back. They were up as many as 19 points in that second quarter. KD, another night of 35 points. Grayson Allen chipped in with 26 points. Boy, is he hot. And the Suns are in sixth place in the Western Conference at 37-26. They'll host the Celtics tomorrow night. Now, interesting, Grayson Allen, the night before, a couple nights ago, when you look back at the Denver game, he hit, the first 6 threes in a row? Last night, it's his first 7 threes in a row. If I do my K-State math, folks, that's 13 for 13 in the first quarter to start off the last 2 games. Grayson Allen getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, and I think it gives them momentum, and it puts defenses in situations that they didn't plan for, and pick and rolls between him and KD. You saw that in the fourth quarter where the Raptors had a tough time, deciding, are we going to let off of Grayson Allen wide open the three-point line or give KD a one-on-one matchup? And that's what KD does best, close out games. But I throw you a question, Manuch, because Grayson Allen, best points per game of his career, best three-point percentage of his career. If he keeps shooting like this, how do you not keep this guy in the starting lineup when Devin Booker comes back?
I think it's a good point. I think that with Book coming back, if he stays there, O'Neal's playing, I call it yeoman's basketball, 10 points. He had the 8 rebounds and the 6 assists. He's playing well. But, yeah, you're right. You get into a scenario where you're playing a group of shooters. Not so much shooters, scorers, whoever that might be. That very well could be. Now, sometimes with Grayson Allen, he's either on or he's off. These last several games, he's been on, to your point, Jax. And I think those are some of the things that you look at. But I think you're right. I think with when Book comes back, you have the big three, and you have him. But there's also, you get Royce O'Neal. He's also that culprit that could help out as well, too. The one thing is you watch the Raptors kind of sneak back in the game there a little bit, is these 14 turnovers. Just after you only had 9 versus the Nuggets, you had 14 last night. You look at, and the other thing, too, is you look at a couple scenarios that sometimes get these teams back on track. Now, they did outscore, they tied the Raptors 31-31 in that fourth quarter. But, man, if they can just clean that up to 8-10 on a nightly basis, they win these games going away.
I think most of those turnovers are coming from Kevin Durant, a guy that's not used to handling the ball as much. But when Devin Booker's out, he's in the lineup. He might have to carry the ball down the court more than what we expected. But that's what we've been talking all year. No point guard for the Phoenix Suns. It's led to bad play in the fourth quarter, and it's led to turnovers. And it's funny, last night you see Nurkic, 7 turnovers. Part of that to do maybe the ball low and getting stripped from, or maybe some bad passes on the baseline. But all in all, collectively, the chemistry, if you're James Jones, you look back on that late trade with Nurk and Grayson Allen, you've got to be more than thrilled. You've got a role player in Grayson Allen. And, of course, he has a career year so far from the three-point line and from points per game, like I mentioned, and he's going to be a free agent next year. It seems like the year before the big contract comes, players start to play their best. And it'll be interesting. I know, the season's going on right now, but what the Suns do with Grayson Allen after this season.
NBA All-Star game coming back. Adam Silver in town yesterday, the big presser. And they announced that they'll be back here at the Footprint Center in 2027. And you think back on the days, the last time they were here was in 2009. So they hosted way back in 2005. And I remember back in 1975, that was my freshman year at Mesa Community College, going over to then the Memorial Coliseum. And I'd gone to several games prior to that. But, folks, when you go to an NBA All-Star game, the stars of the stars of the stars, there is nothing like it. Now, I remember back in 2009 when they had the last All-Star game. That was a lot of fun. But was it 2005 again when they really started to amp it up with the Fan Fest and all the hoopla down there at the in downtown? That just made that whole thing so much fun. So when you look back at the All-Star games, get ready, folks. Adam Silver said, hey, look, the weather, the hotels, the golf courses, we love Phoenix, Arizona. And then on top of that, when you have an owner that says, hey, look, when I buy this team, Adam, I want an All-Star game. I love the persistence to say, I'm buying this team. I want this. I want an All-Star game. And we got an All-Star game within a year of him owning the team.
Is Matt Ishbia being hired and, buying the team for the Phoenix Suns got to be one of the best, would you call it, hirings of Arizona sports history? What he's done, this is his second year.
Yeah.
And he's done so much.
What a breath of fresh air for an owner. And it's a good point there, too, Jags, for Phoenix, Arizona. Look how stale the Cardinals are with Michael Bidwell.
Do you think it's because he's a former player that has to do with it?
I think that has a lot to do with it. Alex Murillo, we look at him with the Coyotes. We came in here, and I got to give him credit, folks. I'll give him credit. They had that deal done in Tempe, retail, hotel, office, plus the arena. I'll give him a lot of credit. He was going to go develop that by himself. No tax dollars. So when I talk about Alex Murillo coming in and doing what he needs to do to keep the team here, now what does he do with this property up here off of 101 and 56th Street? But Matt Ishbia, from that, where he's at, I love the aggressiveness. Folks know that, we want to win. We've been watching this team since 1968-69. At least I have, and I know a lot of folks out there have. He's bound and determined to win, and not win once, but twice. He wants to be on a consistent basis. So I love how he's persistent. He asked Adam Silver, hey, look, we want an All-Star game, and I think this is only beginning of where he is moving forward as opposed to Robert Sarver, which I think also got a little stale from that standpoint too. But again, look at Ken Kendrick and what he's allowing Hazen to do as far as some of the moves with the Diamondbacks. And you look at it, I think that's another move there that they're stepping up their game. But Matt Ishbia has come in, guns a-blazing, and said, I'm here to win, I'm here to spend.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when they announce the G League team too, having a team, up north. it's all basketball everywhere, and I think the developmental side of things, maybe call some guys up from Flagstaff to be able to have those, or not excuse me, Flagstaff, but is it Prescott?
Well,
Where they would play? Yeah, so great stuff there from Matt Ishbiel. Love his passion, and hopefully they can bring a title.
Yotes struggling again. They surrendered 4 goals in the third period and a 5-2 loss in Minnesota at the Mullet. Very difficult. Kagan Keller and Michael Carcone scored with 7 seconds of one of the other second minute of the third period to give Arizona a brief 2-1 lead. But Minnesota answered back some 30 seconds later, scored 3 more goals to end the game. And just when you think you're there, the roof caved in. So right now, the Yotes remain in 7th place in the Western Conference with 55 points and with a 25-33-5 record. Now they'll host Detroit tonight at the Mullet. Arizona traded blue liner Troy Steckler and a 2024 7th rounder to Edmonton exchange for a 2027 4th rounder yesterday. We hit that just briefly yesterday. So what you can see is Armstrong's stockpiling those draft picks that we're going to start to see more and more. So I'm curious today, since today's the NHL trade deadline, how that shakes itself out.
Yeah, it's just tough to see this Coyotes team with all the stuff going on with the arenas and what you thought was going to happen in Tempe, and that got canceled. You thought it was going to be in the East Valley, that got canceled. And to them play this poorly in a year where fans want them to stay in Arizona, it stinks.
Hey, you can win G2G protein bars for an entire year. That's right, an entire year. All you have to do is just text G2G to 59925. You can enter daily to increase your chances of winning. That's G2G to 59925, or I like to say 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. G2G protein bars now available in the refrigerated section in Costco. So when you walk into that large area, just go back to the refrigerated area and you can find those G2G protein bars. Well, coming up, it's our Sounds of the Night, and that's all next with Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, right here on Fox Sports 910. We are live from Wright Toyota in North Scottsdale.
Monday on the Drive, can the Suns complete the most impressive week of their season by beating the Celtics? And what about the free agent frenzy for the Cardinals? 6:05 on the Drive, Fox Sports 910, and your free iHeartRadio app.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for pool, poker, and trivia. And now, the new Huss Brewing Company's Roc and Manuch Lager. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Lager drafts.
Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
It's finally here, spring training baseball, and that means peanuts, popcorn, and sunflower seeds. And a stop at Venezia's Pizzeria after the game for some of our fan favorites, like pizza, wings, and calzones. Venezia's uses family recipes to make the famous Venezia's pizza dough and sauces from scratch, giving you that authentic Italian taste. 6 Valley locations. Order now at Venezia's.com or on the Venezia's app right from your seat and pick it up on the way home. Always a home run with Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at WrightToyota.com.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting, taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words, said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh yeah, let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab your trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. And online at wrighttoyota.com. More sports, more Jody. The Drive with Jody Ayler. Now in mornings, 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
You're live. Welcome back. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Dan Manuch alongside Jackson Groff. We got Chris Schubert back at the studios. Sounds of the night at quite a few good sounds last night when we think about the Suns game and the 120 to 113 game. By the way, Rock, who's out today, I think with load management day, he's got something like that.
He's on assignment. I think the D-backs.
That's right.
Fox Sports 910 to set him out there to cover it so we can report on Monday.
I apologize. My bad. He's on assignment this afternoon, watching those Diamondbacks, and Bradley Beal had. It's interesting because we did our locks yesterday. And I think Rock had Bill was at 19.5. He had 20. So, and I guess FanDuel had 20.5.
Yeah.
And so I guess he got it. He got his lock with another nice game by Bradley Beal. Looks like the hammy, the groins, everything is all pretty good to go in that 120 to 113 victory. Let's start off with here, Stu. Let's start with Nurkic as he got after a little bit. As you mentioned, the turnovers, only had 7 points, but he slammed this one down here in the second quarter to give the Suns a 65-50 lead.
Because you have so many new faces and guys who have seen little time. The scouting report's not exactly deep as Nurk with the follow and delivers a hammer. Rebound number 11.
Special thanks to Arizona Family Sports. Nurk is playing good basketball, good rebounding, but the concern, Jax, you brought this up, been several times the last 3 or 4 games, when he tries to dribble or go to the hoop, he's getting the ball stripped, turning the ball over. And I think those are some of the things they're going to have to work on. When he gets the ball up high and just takes a shot or goes to the rim, whether it be right-handed or left-handed, that's a less amount of times that kind of makes you nervous. The other guy that used to be like that a little bit too would be D.A. D.A. was like that the first few years with the Suns. If he started to dribble or go down low, he would lose the ball. And folks, I will tell you, when they watch tape of the Phoenix Suns and when Nurkic gets the ball, they're going to be looking for that, hey, if he gets it down low or gets to the top, for all you little guys, everybody, look to go and try to strip the ball down low if you can.
Yeah, averaging 16.8 rebounds so far this month is just absolutely ridiculous. One thing I do want to see from Nurk, too, I want to see more free throws and him getting to the line a little more. He's averaging about 2 free throws per game. I'd like to see him kind of get those and ones in position.
I think he has, Jackson. He's had hammer and Nurk the last couple of games. That's why he's been complaining he's not getting the calls. This play occurred. This was going on in the third quarter as Kevin Durant cashes in on yet another three-pointer.
Grayson on the drive into the corner. O'Neal, great ball to the sets up KD for the 3-point hit.
So at that point, I made it 73-59. Again, thank you to Arizona Family Sports. Thank you to Arizona Family Sports for all of these clips. At that point last night watching the game, you went, okay, pretty much game, set, match. But then again, a few turnovers pretty much got the Raptors back in the game, or there's a couple shots. And not that you got nervous. You felt that this team was in complete control. A couple of huge shots, a couple of big balls here and there. But this one here in the fourth quarter, that kind of, pardon the pun here, slammed the game home by one Bradley Beal.
Did you think about that last night? What puns you were going to bring to the show today?
That's just sit back and enjoy.
them there. But yeah, 31 points.
The only way I worry was that they were going to make some because they continue to shoot.
It's good to see Bradley Beal moving without any restrictions. You're seeing him play as far as his shooting is concerned. And the way that he's getting the ball off. And I think those are some of the keys. He was 50% last night. Now only 1 for 4 from three-point land, but 50% shooting. And I think if everybody can stay healthy, and when you get Book back, I don't know if he's going to come back for the Celtics game tomorrow night or not. But if he does, if he fills up for it, if they can sustain and Bill kind of feel good about himself as far as not hesitating on a lot of these drives like that slam dunk and a lot of the moves, as far as that he's looking to get these last 2 or 3 weeks before the playoffs, I think that's what Frank Vogel and his staff are looking for, is no hesitation whatsoever in his game. And we didn't see that last night.
Yeah, and I think until they can figure out the fourth quarter woes, I think it's good for the Suns to get out on a lead early, especially a team like the Celtics, who have been last night battling a deficit, and they almost came back there in the fourth quarter. But one thing you're starting to see is the chemistry building. Royce O'Neal is fitting in great, and I think Beal's ability, like you mentioned, 8 assists last night to find teammates wide open in the baseline. Their spacing is getting a lot better. And if you've got a guy like Grayson Allen to pose that threat early in the game, it's going to have some trouble to those opponents throughout the season.
Yeah, you watch Bobo, and the more he plays, the better he gets, game in and game out. Again, last night, 5 for 7, had the 11 points, the 8 rebounds. This kid, if they can continue to play him, he could be a big part of the playoffs and moving forward. Now, he had 16 minutes. You had Gordon come off the bench and Eubanks come off the bench. I thought everybody fairly effective, but when you only get 22 points off the bench might be a concern. But to see the growth of Bobo as far as he moves around, flies to the rim, the blocks, the slam dunks, but not only that, the shooting has been impressive. And I think that has been a welcomed addition to this team. And I might be safe, I think, for a Suns fans, and I really didn't watch Bobo the last couple of years that much, a welcomed addition to what this kid can do.
I think being around the presence of a guy like Kevin Durant, who's had a great relationship, he's talked about how he wants to see the best for Bol, and him going out there and scoring, gives him motivation and gives him and fires him up and stuff. But you see the one-legged shots, the floaters from Bol, his ability to shoot the perimeter at 3, and not only that, but he'll get down low and get you some rebounds. Him and Eubanks, if they can get around 5 to 6, maybe even 8 rebounds on top of Nurkic, it's a big help that we didn't see last year.
A couple things you look at the last few games for the Suns. Their field goal percentage is right around 50%. 3-point shooting is like 40 to 42, 43%, which is outstanding. I think those are keys if you're going to do a shooting contest. Again, we talked about the total turnovers they had last night. I believe were 16 to end the game, only 9 by Toronto. But I think the points in the paint a little bit better. They only gave up they had 40 last night, gave up 48. And on top of that, you look at the largest lead, which has been interesting, 22-point lead that they had against Denver, 19 last night, getting those big leads. But in the NBA right now, it's only 3 or 4 3-point shots by the opposing team to dwindle that down to 6 points, like they did last night in the fourth quarter, that being Toronto. And it would not go away. Not that you felt that there was anything that was going to happen as far as them losing, but with the turnovers and the 3-point shooting, those are some of the things I think they got to guard against again in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's rinse and repeat with this team, getting guys involved and just continuing to win. And I think they're a team, again, like we always mentioned, trying to see out of the play-in tournament. But if they can stay healthy and with Devin Booker coming back, I like how these role players are stepping up. And, 35, 20, 26, 10. Your starting lineup is producing day in and day out. Eric Gordon, another guy, had a rough night last night, but they're top 8, 7 guys. You look at this lineup, Manuch. This team is a contender in the Western Conference if they're all healthy.
Yeah, that's the key there. And you looked at that game last. Toronto's probably the worst team that they're going to play
3
as they move on. So you got Boston in town tomorrow night. Then you go on the road next week for 3-4 games. You got to go travel on Monday. It'll be Cleveland, followed by Boston, and then it's Charlotte, and then Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee, who's limping a little bit, but Doc Rivers seems to have them on track. Aside from that, and maybe San Antonio, the last week of March, might be, I don't know, even with their scenario, might be the only other team that I can think of as I looked at the rest of the schedule that the Suns, not that they can cruise against anybody in particular, but really that Toronto team and I think San Antonio are really the last 2 bastions of teams that they should take care of. Everybody else is going to be I'm not going to say a struggle, but they're going to be in a dogfight with the remaining game, 19 remaining games throughout the rest of the year.
should, though. I mean, the Spurs played the Kings hard last night on the road against the Kings. You talk about the back-to-back being tough as an NBA player to be able to play those back-to-back games, but you're in a league right now where offensive stretches, offensive runs are such a big thing in basketball where you can't really sleep on any opponent. You can't sleep in the fourth quarter because there's scorers everywhere. You've got 7-footers shooting three-pointers in the NBA. So the Spurs, like you mentioned, should be ones to win, but that Celtics game tomorrow is going to be one to watch.
So if you look at the current standings for the Phoenix Suns, I believe they're up to 6 now. They're in 6th. So you look at between them, Sacramento's in 7th, Dallas who's in 9th. So that going back and forth with Sacramento is 7.5 back. The Suns are 7 back. Now Dallas is 9 games back, followed by Golden State. And I think I called my lock yesterday. Did I? With my underdog winning that game yesterday, the Bulls taking on the Warriors in back-to-back games. By the way, Steph Curry is day-to-day questionable. But you look at that just to hold serve because in front of the Suns is New Orleans at 6.5.
1 minute.
And then I don't think anybody unseats the Clippers. They're at the 4th spot right now at 3. So anywhere between that 5, 6, and 7, I think it's basically a fight to stay above what I call the Mendoza line or the play-in game scenario. And I think that's going to be one of the keys for this Suns team to pretty much hold serve. And that's the one thing that Frank Vogel even said in the presser, said from here on out, it's playoffs have started. We got to hold serve in reference to not so much if you do fall in the play-in scenario, try to stay above that. And I think that's one of the things you look at. The Sounds of the Night are brought to you by the Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. They have 3 live betting windows and 6 self-service betting kiosks, plus 8 screens displaying all betting lines. Well, check it out for yourself. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Well, the regular season is winding down in college basketball. And what do some of the early brackets look like in next week's conference championships? Bracketologist Chris Dobertine, one of the best in the business, gives us a sneak preview next as you listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on Fox Sports 910.
This is what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
Coyotes skated Mullen Arena tonight against the Red Wings. They've also traded Jason Zucker to Nashville for a 2024 6th-round pick, and Matt Dumba and a 7th-round pick to Tampa Bay for a 2027 7th-rounder. College basketball tomorrow. The regular season wraps up for Grand Canyon against Cal Baptist. Arizona visits USC, and ASU tangles with UCLA on the road. Merrill Kelly got the start for the Diamondbacks as they are taking on the Cubs this afternoon. And the Suns coming off their victory over the Raptors last night, getting set for a tough test tomorrow night when they entertain the Celtics. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar on the southeast corner of Cave Creek and the 101. Happy hour 7 days a week, 4 to 7, with $5.50 house wines and well drinks, $4.75 drafts, plus tons of food specials. Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
This month's fever is here, and it might be time for that vasectomy. Call the experts. Purely Vasectomies. 844-NO-SPERM. 3 Valley locations. That's Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Year after year, Lerner Rowe is voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. You may wonder why. The answer is quite simple. Lerner Rowe is so popular because we give every client excellent service and a superior experience. But also the main reason is results. We've recovered billions of dollars for our clients with over $1 billion collected in the last 5 years alone. Our phone lines are always open and our legal team is standing by right now, waiting for your call.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Life's a sprint. Need G2G protein bars. Grab and go fuel for the office, links, and daily grind. Score an 8-pack at Costco or explore flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, power-packed G2G protein bars, setting your pace.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Hey, it's Gross. Join me, Bauer, and Jackson every Saturday from 11 to 1 live from the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona for Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
There, it's Mountain Man Jen. It's tournament time. Get ready for buzzer beaters and busted brackets. And to make your tournament more enjoyable, Cox Mobile is offering a chance to win a $2,000 gift card to host your own watch party. Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Pay for what you need, from a single gig to unlimited. Go to iHeart.com/Cox Bracket to register for your chance to win. That's at iHeart.com/Cox Bracket to register. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older to win. See iHeart.com/Cox Bracket for complete details.
Just like in basketball, a successful game plan starts with having the right players. The MVP team at Tractor Supply brings both hustle and heart. That's what really sets them apart. So lace up your sneakers and make winning plays by heading to your local Tractor Supply store today.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Well, folks, if you haven't noticed, college basketball season, the regular season is winding down this weekend. Some of the conference championships are going on. I know the Big Sky is. It's going to start this weekend. Then next week, looks like the majority of the conference championship will be going on. And then next Sunday, I would call it the pairings or the bracket will be out next Sunday evening. And a guy that we've been picking his brain for almost, the last 12 to 15 years. He's got it broken down every which way, to Monday, Sunday, you name it. That being Chris Dobertine, who joins us next on the Right to the Guest side. He's got the site blogging the bracket. You can also tweet him at Chris Dobertine. Chris, it's Manuch alongside Jax. First and foremost, is parity causing somewhat of a ire in the household of one Chris Dobertine with all the upsets that are going on this year?
Yeah, guys, I think that's going to be one of the big things that I look at, especially over the weekend, is, over the past couple of seasons, it's been a little bit hard to kind of sort out the teams. Seed lines 5 through about 10 for various different reasons. And one of the things I'm going to be doing this weekend is trying to figure out why I've been making those errors. And it really, when you have teams that are so good, so many teams with the transfer portal and, all the movement among rosters, it's not the same as it used to be. So it's time to step back and take a look and see, why things are a little bit different now, especially we're into the net now, 4 years into the net. What is kind of driving the committee when they're making those decisions?
Chris, is what has been the constant for you over the last, let's say, 5 years? And you talk about the portal and NIL that's changed. Guys are staying longer, more experienced teams, older teams. So what was the constant prior that's changing this year when you look at your bracketology?
I think this year it's the fact that it really is becoming more and more consolidated in terms of the number of conferences that are kind of involved in the multi-bid rate. And that's going to be even worse next year when we have, the Pac-12 basically disappearing, with half the teams going to the Big Ten and half the teams going to the Big 12. That's going to be kind of the big thing because, there really aren't very many chances for teams outside of the top 7 conferences, which is, the Power 5, the Big East, and really the Mountain West at this point. There's not a lot of chances for those teams, to get those extra at-large bids. And I don't see that changing. I think it's frankly going to be worse unless they actually do go to expand the field to, 72 or 76, as they've been talking about over the past few weeks.
Chris, before we get into some of the bubble teams that you have on your bracket, I want to talk about Tennessee and Arizona because Tennessee is going to be one of the hottest teams in the country right now, one of the toughest stretches, and they've got another one tomorrow against Kentucky. What does Tennessee, in your eyes, have to do to kind of secure that 1 seed, and then vice versa for Arizona right now? And in a weaker conference being the Pac-12, does Tennessee need to win the SEC? Do they need the semifinals or the championship? How do you see those two kind of shaping out for that last 1 seed spot?
I've had Tennessee above Arizona for about the last solid week or so. Very close between the two. Arizona, they have a better record in quad 1 games, but unfortunately, as you said, Pac-12 is down this year. They don't have as many opportunities. They're not going to have those opportunities going into the Pac-12 tournament that Tennessee is going to have. And then the other thing that's kind of, separates them out is that Tennessee doesn't have any losses in quad 3 or quad 4. The Wildcats had that loss against Oregon State. And, when we talk about the margins being so narrow, that's the kind of thing that can really keep a team off the one line, when being compared to another squad that's very similar otherwise.
Here's Chris Dobertin. He is a bracketologist. His site is called Blogging the Bracket. You can also tweet him at Chris Dobertin. Chris, you've always given myself and Rock and Jimmy B and Jackson, all of us, kind of a formula at times, and you've been pretty accurate. And the thing that sticks out in my mind is you used to always talk about the 8, 9, 10, 11 teams, kind of the middle of the pack. I think that this year, even if I just were to basically go, okay, I'm going to look at the men's college rankings. Let's just say, all right, you got Marquette 8, Duke 9, and then you got Baylor 11. I mean, every one of those, I feel, could win the national title. Is that even a more stronger statement this year than years past?
Oh, absolutely. I think that there's a clear difference, between the top 3 and now if you include Tennessee in that group and Arizona even. There's kind of a top 3, top 5, and then you have another tier of teams that's also, going to be in great shape to make the Final Four, maybe even, win the national title if things break right. Because Purdue, UConn, and Houston, they've all shown that they do have some weaknesses. But yeah, those middle tier teams in the top tier, the 2 and 3 seed lines in particular, I think are particularly strong this year. Maybe not for Kansas just because they don't have the depth that they normally have. Duke, I think Duke is probably a little overrated. But otherwise, I think a lot of those teams are going to have a really good shot if they get the right draw, to make it to Glendale and cut down the net.
Chris Dobertin, bracketology expert, SB Nation, joins us here on the Right Toyota guest line. Let's look at your last 4 in right now, updated this morning. You had Villanova, St. John's, New Mexico, and Colorado. Colorado, big win last night. What'd you see from them in a big win on the road against Oregon? And is Colorado one of those teams that maybe needs to make the semifinals when you look at it as a lock to make the tournament? Kind of talk to me about your last 4, including Colorado.
Well, I think the thing with the Buffaloes is that, they're one of the many teams this year, and this is something that I've kind of noticed with the net in particular, where the profile doesn't match up with the rankings. Like, they're 29, they're a top 30 net team, and, in the old days under the RPI, that would be pretty much a given. They would be an absolute stone-cold lock if they were that high. But they only have, 2 quad 1 wins, and they're not very impressive quad 1 wins. Yes, they were on the road against Washington and Oregon, but they don't have any of those real top-tier wins that you want to see out of a team that you would consider a lock. They also have some very strange quad 2 losses that, as you look at the quadrant system and how it's set up, I wouldn't have set it up this way because, a loss to a team like California, yes, Cal is much improved this year, but they're still Cal. They're still not a great team. That doesn't seem like a quad 2, kind of loss to me. So, yeah, I think they are going to they can't trip up against Oregon State like Utah did last night. But I think they probably are going to have to get to that Friday night semifinal in the Pac-12 to really kind of feel secure in their place.
Chris, looking at the last year of the Pac-12, obviously U of A, whether they're a 1 seed or a 2 seed, will yet to be seen. But Washington State right now looks like they could be in. But that's probably about it, unless if Colorado sneaks in the back door. I don't know if we've ever seen in my lifetime been around that we only see 2 or 3 Pac-12 teams in the tournament.
Well, I'm kind of thinking back a few years to there was a time where both the SEC and the Pac-10, before it was the Pac-12, had a little bit of a little bit of trouble getting teams in. But yeah, certainly not to this level, and certainly not to the point where you have a team that's kind of, up in the front of the line nationally in Arizona, and everybody else kind of chasing around. Yeah, that I think to me is kind of the major difference between this year and years past.
So, Chris, when you look at all the teams and I know you're a big college basketball nerd. Anyone that has bracketology expertise day to day has to be a nerd. But those who are starting to watch college basketball now that maybe needed a debrief or a break between, when football ended, who are some of the top contenders in your eyes, some of the favorites to win the national championship as of right now?
I think right now, even though I have UConn as the number 2 overall seed, to me they're the favorite. I think that they have the best shot at repeating since Florida did in 2006 and 2007. I think Purdue is very well set up to potentially make a similar run to the one that Virginia did after they were upset by a 16 seed in the first round. I think they're another team that has a really great shot. Houston, there isn't a team, I think, in the country that is as strong defensively as they are. Tennessee, offensively is a very good team, and they're also very tough defensively.
1 minute.
Arizona's another squad, and they kind of flown under the radar. And the one thing that worries me a little bit about them, kind of like we used to think about Gonzaga in recent years, when they didn't have a really strong conference to kind of get through it. They lost to Washington State, their closest rival in the league standings this year, twice. So I'm kind of I probably wouldn't be taking Arizona. I'm usually pretty high in the Wildcats, but I don't think I'm going to be this year. And yeah, I think Marquette's another squad. If they can get healthy, if they get Tyler Kolek back, I think they're going to be a team that can really kind of make a run as well.
He's Chris Dobertine. It's called Blogging the Bracket, also at Chris Dobertine on Twitter. Chris, we will track you down next week, and we'll track you down the following Monday and get in your grill a little bit and see what's going on in reference to it all coming to fruition a week from Sunday evening. So we thank you, as always, for taking the time. Appreciate that.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys.
Again, Chris Dobertine. It's called Blogging the Bracket. As you heard Jack there, he's got a lot of good stuff on there, a lot of the potential stuff, guys. So if you're looking to kind of get an early look, and the one thing that stuck out in my mind, at least, Jax, was the parity has really got him stumped on some of the teams, as I mentioned, from 7 through 11. Those are teams that could win it all, especially this year.
Yeah, and you look at the Tennessee-Arizona argument, whatever bracketology expert you look at, either Chris Dobertine or Jerry Palmer or Joe Lenardi, the Tennessee-Arizona, they have them in the same region. So seeing those teams meet up, it's going to be fun to see which one comes out of there. And then you even talk about the 8-9 matchups, like you mentioned, the Boise State, the Texas, even Michigan State. Gonzaga, one of the hottest teams right now, might end up at an 8 seed. If you're Houston, it's not an easy second-round game if you're trying to make it to the Final Four.
Coming up next, it's our Football 50, and on this stage, you listen to Rock right here on Fox Sports 910 and now on 99.9 FM HD3 as we are live from Wright Toyota.
Check clear. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd. This year, more than any year, I would argue, Draymond's even more valuable. Why? Because this Warrior team has 4 very young players. 2 have size. And to beat the Lakers, Denver, or Minnesota in the...
I watched J.C. Latham finish his report earlier this week. I was watching Olu Fashanu on Monday and Wednesday.
Smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. If he goes top 10, I think the team's going to really regret that decision. Lesser Roofers Cut Corner. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm not a fan, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable taking him in the top 50. For your maintenance, repair, unless you are kicking him inside the guard.
Over 150,000 injured people.
If you are going to play him as a right guard in year 1, I think you can take him top 15 comfortably.
Years alone.
But if you want him to be a right tackle, I think you're going to take some lumps early.
Your personal injury case, that means that Lerner
he got I can tell you, but I can look, but I think it was a 75-5 for me.
For your injuries. The insurance companies know which attorneys won't put up a fight. When you call us,
my grade was a 75-5, which is like a late 1, early 2.
Call 977-1900.
In the fast lane of life, your fuel should keep up.
Alt was an 84.
Check out G2G protein bars, your ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether it's a workday, gym session, or navigating daily chaos, G2G has got you covered. Find them now at your local Costco in the refrigerated section. Or explore all 8 fantastic flavors at G2Gbar.com. Great tasting and packed with protein. So keep pace with life in the fast lane with G2G protein bars.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the number.
And Alt's not even my top tackle.
Looking for a change in your career path, or just looking to get back into the employment market again? Look no
I have Fashanu at an 86.
Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings are in the areas of customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facility maintenance, and dispatch.
I have him in a 75.5
for a challenging yet rewarding opportunity.
I would not take him in the top 15 personally.
401k program with a generous company match and a company that is a leader in the industry.
It's always for like offensive linemen, I have 10 traits. So it grades out of 100 scale.
At 480,
but it's like really hard to get 100.
All City Towing is Arizona's largest.
Like to get a 90, you have to get 9s across the board.
Provider, locally owned and invested.
So right now I'm through 3. My next guy up is going to be Fuaga, the tackle from Oregon State.
And possess great communication skills.
I have a feeling he's going to be my top guy.
allcitytowing.com/careers.
But we'll see after I watch.
833-7278. That's allcitytowing.com.
Commit to one day and help.
No, so the guys that I do the scouting reports with, he had him for a report.
Waiting in long lines like school pickups and
he raved about him when watching him, so I have to cross-check him and do my grade on him. I'm not writing a report on him.
Maricopa.gov/AQ.
Tune in Saturday morning from 9 to 11.
Yeah, I have a backlog right now of tackles to get through.
Best. The Backspin Boys take you inside the ropes every week with guests.
Here and watch tape like before the show.
Backspin the Golf Show on Fox Sports 910.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan.
Again, I'm doing it off of limited tape.
With no contracts.
Like for Latham and Fashanu and Alt so far, the place I get filmed from only has 3 games for 2023. So you're just using a limited sample.
Right when you activate without a pay, plus taxes and fees, discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch
he would be my pick.
Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Right Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at righttoyota.com.
Let's get ready for football!
It's football at 50. The latest top football story trending this hour. Right here with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
And always brought to you by courtesy of Arena Sports Grill. Off-track betting, all the games with sound and great food with daily specials. All at Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale. It's open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. A little football 50, looking at some of the latest cuts, signings, or tendered offers. Jax, anything that sticks in your craw or see that's coming on since the legal tampering starts on Monday, and then teams can officially sign free agents on next Wednesday.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, might be shocking to some people, might not be. Ian Rappaport reported 30 minutes ago that the Patriots appear open to trading quarterback Mac Jones, and teams have been calling them and doing work on the former starter, sources say. With a new coaching staff and a fresh start, may make sense for all sides.
Where do the Patriots pick in that first round?
Number 3.
Interesting. What do you think, Shu? You think that they might be hedging their bets? You may be looking at a quarterback. No, they have a few needs, but you think might be a surprise sneak in there, and they might pick a quarterback at number 3?
Yeah, so I get the question, and to a larger extent, my answer is yes, because I do think the new regime is going to want to get their guy, right? Yeah. New head coach, new GM. They didn't pick Mac Jones, so they're going to want to take their guy. But I think the place where we get lost a little bit, guys, is this assumption that because they're a quarterback-needy team, they're just going to take a quarterback regardless. What if internally they don't like J.J. McCarthy? What if internally they don't like Jaden Daniels? What if they don't like Michael Penix Jr. at number 3? What if they don't like a Bo Nix in the first round? If they don't like those guys and it's Caleb Williams or Drake May or bust, there's a pretty good chance that Caleb's going to go 1, Drake May is going to go 2, and now you have the New England Patriots, who everybody thinks should take a quarterback, They don't like those guys. They're not going to force it. So I get the question, but it really all depends. Do they think that there are 3 or 4 guys they would be comfortable with taking at number 3? Because if the answer to that question is no, and the guy that they want isn't there at number 3, they're going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. They're going to take a top tackle. They're going to take a different player at that spot, and that's when you can start to see the chaos start to fly.
Yeah, I think that reiterates when we had Mike Mayock on last Friday, him talking about former GM with the Las Vegas Raiders and Draft Guru. We had asked him, what's the consensus of the room? And as I recollect, he was pretty much saying, it's pretty much everybody's got to be in unison on that number 1 pick. And the other thing he says, that guy's got to like football, got to want to be a football player day in and day out. So that's interesting. But to that point, a lot of folks, you got Jaden Daniels will be there. Well, that's true. But so again, with that coming out, that's going to be very interesting to see how they handle that, which also leads me to Russell Wilson. He's going to be visiting with the Pittsburgh Steelers and spoke to the New York Giants yesterday. So he's pretty much out there doing his interviewing, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. So with all the teams that he's going to, and I'm going to throw this out at you, gentlemen. I look at, if it's Pittsburgh, is Pickett go on hold? Do they leave Pickett alone to start and bring Russell in as they back up? Does New England look at him as a potential starter, as a stopgap? This is very interesting as far as Russell Wilson. I felt played fairly decent last year. I thought he played pretty well, all things considered. Or do you bite the bullet and go with the young guys? And of all the teams that are out there interviewing, it could be Atlanta is always the default, right? So what is his role? I'll open it to you guys. She'll ask you first. Where do you think his role is going to be, as a starter or a stopgap, or just be that backup for just in case that starter goes down?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Manuch. I don't think he's going to be any team's first choice. Let's just go through it real quick. Do we think he's Atlanta's first choice, or do we think Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields could be their first choice?
Justin Fields, or even a rookie?
Yeah. Is he going to be? Would he be the Giants' first choice? They have a $40 million quarterback, and there's thoughts of them potentially taking a quarterback at number 6.
My question to you, Shu, is what's his value, Russell Wilson? Is it a veteran minimum, $900,000, $1 million, or is he going to want $5 to $10 million? Because if it's $5 to $10 million, then to your point, I would definitely not prioritize.
And let me just real quick, it depends whether they bring him in as a starter or not. If he's a backup, they're going to pay him backup money. He's already got that guaranteed money coming in, right, from Denver. So I think that it depends. At least I feel, guys, that if he's going to come in and be the backup, be that insurance firm, that insurance guy, it'll be different than if they bring him as a starter.
Well, and that's the thing that he can maybe use to move this along, because the point I was going to make is he's not going to be anybody's first choice. And to that point, I think his market's going to be incredibly quiet. Yeah, he's going to meet with these teams, but it might be more so of, let's see what Russ is all about. Let's see what he's interested in. And then we'll circle back if plan A, B, C, and D fall through. Because, Pittsburgh, all of these teams that are drafting at the top of the draft, Atlanta, are they really, are they sitting in their front office, in their war room and saying, you know what, our best option is for 2024? I got it, Russell Wilson. Yes. No, none of those teams are saying that. And so the thing that I think Russ could do to help is he can walk into any building and say, no matter the role that you are going to ask me to do, I need X amount. And it could be a low number because he's getting paid a lot of money from Denver to not play for them. And so that could be the thing that he could use to maybe speed this along. But guys, I think when we get to Monday and legal tampering opens and we start to see some of these quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, we see these contracts start to go down. I do not think you're going to hear a lot about Russell Wilson signing a contract for a very long time. I think he's going to be a late signing sometime in the summer, after the draft, after OTAs, probably right before the start of training camp. I think that's when you're going to start to see his market move because, again, I do not think he's going to be a lot of teams' top options.
I would agree with that, sure. I think wherever he goes, he'll be going as a backup because look how valuable backups were last year. And look how some teams got caught with their pants down without having a good, solid backup. And you know what, Shu? It could turn into a Joe Flacco situation. He goes to Cleveland, 6-7 weeks into the season and does a phenomenal job and leads that team to the playoffs. So I think you're right. If I look at Russell Wilson right now, folks, I look at him as a backup. I don't see him going anywhere and unseating even the young guys as far as being a starter. Hey, so let's take a real quick look at on this day, 53 years ago. Guys, if you haven't watched the tape on this one, this was great. 1971. That'd be my 8th grade year, going way back to Mount Carmel over there on Rural and Broadway. The fight of the century went down between undefeated Muhammad Ali and undefeated Smokin' Joe Frazier in the 15th round. Frazier knocked Ali down and won by decision to retain his title. The title had not been stripped from Ali for refusing to go into the Army. It had been stripped, from going to the Army. Now, he came back And he had a couple fights. He fought Jerry Quarry, who was a very worthy opponent. I think he had another warm-up before he fought Smoking Joe Frazier. And Joe caught him with the upper left-handed hook in the bottom of the chin and knocked him right to the canvas. And the thing I remember about that is wasn't on TV, was nowhere to be found, but I would listen. I took the black box out on the driveway. I had a basketball hoop out there. I was out there shooting all night. And when they would do break-ins for the update, this was like national news for the update on a round by round, I would stop shooting hoops and listen to it. I want to say it's going way back to one of the local sports stations here back at the time. I'd have been KFYI 55, our sister station, and give it. And then, I don't know, about 9:30 at night, Ali gets knocked down by Joe Frazier. You went, what? Muhammad Ali knocked down. And then the decision that came down. So you had to wait for your 10:30 your 10 o'clock local news to find who won the whole entire situation. A great fight. One of the greatest fights of the century. Well, coming up in hour number 2, we'll get you caught up with all of the top stories of the day. Sports handicapper Scott Spreitzer will join us at 2:30. That's all right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and now on 99.9 FM HD3 live from Wright Toyota.
Clear.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Alternative Rewind, where all rock began. Just search Alternative Rewind and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Hello, Phoenix. We have some exciting news. Local high school sports has a new home right here on Fox Sports 910 AM. The Coach B and Eternal radio show can now be heard right here on Fox Sports 910 every Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. Don't miss it.
The hit true crime podcast Paper Ghosts is back with a haunting mystery in the shadows of the Ozarks. Season 4 unravels a darkly intriguing cold case from 1989 as a community continues to search for answers about a missing girl, various suspects, and a potential connection to BTK.
It's gone from, okay, we don't think something's quite right, to there's some worry going on now because now we found some of her clothing.
Listen to Paper Ghosts on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk.
I mean, he'll get somewhere, but I just don't think any team is going to rush to go after him when there's other options available.
StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single silver unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines all on the silver unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
And again, we also don't know what he's asking for.
Best time.
Like I said, he might be able to use it to his advantage and not ask for a lot. But maybe he's asking for a lot.
Of course.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell. Enjoy this weather on one of their 3 spacious patios. One is smoke-free. Dukes, right on the Greenbelt at Miller and McDowell, has awesome food, great drink specials, and is totally dog-friendly. Meet up with your friends at Dukes for spring training.
Where? Miller and McDowell. Scottsdale.
Now open in Rocky Point.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free never sounded so good.
The NHL trade deadline this afternoon. The Coyotes moved Jason Zucker to the Predators. The Utes received a 6th-round pick in the deal. They also sent Matt Dumba and a draft pick to the Lightning for a late-round pick. The Cardinals
saw that.
defensive lineman L.J. Collier on a one-year deal.
I hope he makes the
Collier
team.
played in just one game for the Birds last season. College basketball tomorrow. Arizona State will face UCLA. The Wild of USC. GCU calls on Cal Baptist, and NAU takes on Idaho State in the Big Sky Tournament. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Look for a cloudy start to the day with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, a high of 71 degrees, and then tonight temperatures dropping down to about 50 degrees. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Anita Roman.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Come to Audible and discover the best selection of audiobooks without exception. Bestsellers, new releases, plus podcasts and exclusive Audible originals. You'll find everything you love all in one place. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Welcome back, Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Jackson Groff right here as we are at Wright Toyota. We got Chris Schubert back at the iHeart Studios. Bet the game, watch the game, the Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. They have 3 live betting windows and 6 self-service betting kiosks, plus 8 screens displaying all the betting lines. Check it out for yourself. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's at the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Well, last night, the Suns, they went 120-113. Jacks just kind of took care of business. They got after it. They stayed after it. Got a little close there at the end, but what fourth quarter wouldn't be for the Phoenix Suns for a team not to get close for them?
Yeah, and it's one of those, what do you call, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name. When you're looking on to the next game for the Celtics,
Trap game.
It was a trap game for the Suns. Rinse and repeat. They get a win, and the biggest headline is Grayson Allen. His confidence from 3, 7 of 8, 7 of those being in the first quarter. And
7 in a row.
7 in a row. You get in that situation. How do you not keep this guy out of the starting lineup, Manuch? When Devin Booker comes into play, do you put Beal on the bench? I know that was one of your State 48 Roofing It's Your Call questions of the day a couple weeks ago, but it's a fair point. Do you kind of, Beal with his injury history, maybe go a 2-star lineup and sub in somebody and kind of prevent the injuries, I guess?
No, I think that Bill's going to start. I think where you look at is the whole Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen scenario. What way are they going to lean once everybody's healthy? Now, guys, that's a good dilemma to have everybody all hands on deck for your last 3 weeks of the regular season, and hopefully to hold serve at that 6th spot, or maybe even move into the 5th spot. You don't want to drop into the 7th spot. All of a sudden you're into the play-in tournament, as you will. But I look at it right now with KD. So if you put in, it would be interesting. You have a small scenario. You put KD in. You got Book, Nurkic, Bill, and then Allen. So I think that the odd man out would be Royce O'Neal, which is okay. But I think it's gonna, folks. It depends as they move forward. Who the matchups are going to be against. And I think the blessing in disguise, as I said the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, for Frank Vogel, he's had the opportunity to really go, okay, I got to mix and match because I've got guys hurt. What's my biggest mix and match? And if he gets to the point where everybody's healthy and his rotation might have just gotten a lot deeper off that bench with O'Neal and Grayson Allen and the other guys coming off the bench, and you see Eubanks, okay, he's going to fill in for Nurkic. And Bobo as well, too. Eric Gordon, he had his 5 points. Didn't shoot real well last night. But you've got the shooters, you've got the scorers that I feel that Frank Vogel can impart into the team at any particular time, because these guys are getting a lot of reps. They're playing a lot of basketball. And maybe the only thing I can think of, guys, that's a blessing in disguise. But at some point, the chemistry factor has got to be elongated for a good 2 to 3 weeks prior to going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see some selflessness on this basketball team. Durant saying, we need Grayson Allen to shoot the basketball more because it only opens up him on those one-on-one situations, the high pick and rolls, Durant being able to have the one-on-one. Are you going to leave Grayson Allen open? Are you going to help on the inside? Oh, and then you've got Nurkic or O'Neal breaking in on the baseline being wide open. So many options for the Phoenix Suns. Stay healthy, and I think the fourth quarter, as we're going to mention, no point guard fourth quarter for the rest of the season, but if they can get out front and just kind of stay easy, stay poised throughout the season, I think it'll be good for the Suns just to get in the playoffs.
Lest you forget against Denver the other night, you had Grayson hit his first 6 in a row, that being threes. Last night, his first 7 in a row. So starting off the game, guess who I want the basketball going to? He's 13 for 13 starting games off the last 2 games, folks. So I think when you see them move the basketball, and to KD's point, hey, look, if you're open, get the shot. And Frank Vogel even said it after the Denver game. He said, look, we want to move the basketball. We want to pass the basketball, but don't pass it up. Meaning, if you got the shot, you got a clean shot, you're open, take it. Don't be afraid to take it. But I think Grayson Allen, that's the big dilemma that this team is going to have.
Sure, you haven't said much about the Suns, and that's my fault for not even throwing it to you. What were your thoughts about last night's game and the current state of the Phoenix Suns?
Look, this team is what they are, right? And what they are is inconsistent. But when they put it all together, it looks like what you saw last night. I don't get too worried about the Raptors getting back into the game late. Manuch, if you turn on NBA League Pass or NBA TV or TNT and you watch games from across the NBA, you know what you're going to see on any given night? Teams make those late runs in the second half and games appear closer in the box score than they actually are. What I care about, does the team win? Do they look good? Do they take care of business? Because, guys, their next 3 games, 2 of them against the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference in the Boston Celtics. The game sandwiched in between those 2 contests, a game against the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this is not an easy stretch here for this Suns team.
No way.
It's not an easy stretch the rest of the season. So for this team to go out there against the team they should beat, they should handle with ease, to go out there and get a victory, you file it away as a win, you move on to what is a very important stretch for this basketball team. But again, what we have been looking for this entire season, consistency. We have not found it yet. We are still searching for it. Hopefully, at some point before the playoffs, they give us that confidence because, guys, great win last night. They're only a half game out of the play-in tournament. True. Half game. The Kings are a half game. The only reason why is because the Suns have just played 1 more game. If the Kings win their next game that they have in hand on the Suns, they have the same record, tied for the play-in tournament spot at the 7th seed. So this is far from being out of mind for the Phoenix Suns and Frank Vogel. So they got to do some work, and it is a tough stretch coming up for them.
Arizona Coyotes surrendered 4 goals in the 3rd period during a 5-2 loss to Minnesota, and they got Detroit tonight, so it's not going to get any easier. The team right now is 55. Helen has 55 points, 25-33-5. As I mentioned, they host Detroit tonight. Other news, they traded blue liner Troy Stecker and a 2024 7th-round pick to Edmonton exchange for a 2027 4th-rounder on Wednesday. Today is the trade deadline in the National Hockey League. I don't know. I haven't seen any late-breaking news one way or the other.
Two moves this afternoon,
okay.
Manuch,
All right.
2 of them. Matt Dumba on the move. He's gone as part of a deal with some pick swaps that the Coyotes made. And then Jason Zucker also on the move. So those are the 2 moves that the Coyotes get done today ahead of the trade deadline.
Yeah, some big moves over there with at Coyote Land. Cardinals, as we mentioned yesterday, bringing back, we get a chance to really dive into this. Greg Dortch coming back was like a minimum $1.6 million or something like that. I like it when you look at him. He had 24 catches, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns last season. I like when Greg Dortch catches the ball as an involved in the game. As a slot guy, he catches the ball. And when I say that, I say facetiously because sometimes, as we saw with the Chiefs, catching the ball and tackling are lost arts in the National Football League. I'll even say blocking. But, I mean, I like this. I like Dortch coming back to this team, the tendered offer. Basically gives the Cardinals the first right of refusal for him to come back. I think he stays. I think the continuity with him and Kyler Murray is good. He's a good, solid possession guy. Sneaky quick, as we like to say, but he's got good hands, and he's good yards after contact or yards after catch.
Yeah, and especially in the 3rd down situations, you got a security blanket on the right side of Trey McBride. On the opposite side, you've got Greg Dortch. You look at the games last year where they won. Greg Dortch was a big piece of it against Philly. 7 targets, 7 catches, 82 yards. That's what you want to see from your slot receiver. You think about the Raiders game when they won in that crazy overtime game. Greg Dortch had some good catches down the stretch. So you got inconsistency on the outside with Hollywood Brown. Michael Wilson, if he can stay healthy, you've got him on the outside and potentially a Marvin Harrison Jr. But if you can get those slot guys set for the future, I think Kyler Murray is definitely going to feel more.
Going to be huge. Well, the Wildcats, number 5 Wildcats, they clinched the Pac-12 in an 88-65 rout over UCLA Bruins at Pauley Pavilion. The Wildcats, as I mentioned, clinched 15-4 conference record to go along with a 24-6 mark overall. They take on USC tomorrow night. And ASU faded down the stretch. Devils kept the game, but they couldn't keep up the pace in an 81-73 loss at the Galen Center. They led by 2 in the middle of the second period. Always kind of start off strong in that second half, but a 12-2 run by the Trojans kind of put everything in perspective. Jose Perez poured in 25 points in the losing effort, while Adam Miller finished with 18. So ASU in 9th place in the Pac-12, an 8-11 conference record.
I have a story.
And a 14-16 mark overall there at UCLA tomorrow night. Chew?
So I don't know if for the listeners who are watching the show on Twitter or on YouTube, they may have seen at the beginning of this segment, I just threw my hands up in disgust at what I saw on the computer. And I needed to bring this story to you because it is a headline. Now, I can see that you're both sitting down. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen handy? Because you're going to need it for what I'm about to share with you.
I got it.
So, okay, you know how in next year we're going to do the 12-team playoff in college football, all right? 12-team playoff. And then we're already, before we've started the 12-team playoff, we're talking about the 14-team playoff, right?
Yes.
And we talked about how in the 14-team playoff, which is not next year but the year after, we're going to do the auto buy thing for certain teams, and they're going to be able to skip the first round. Remember all this?
Yes.
Okay, so the news story just dropped maybe about 3 minutes ago. CFP leaders are inching closer to a 14-team playoff for the 2026 season. But the proposed idea of the SEC and Big Ten champions receiving guaranteed buys is starting to lose some steam among conference commissioners following public backlash. This according to ESPN. They can't get any of this right. You know what's going to happen? It's going to be a 16-team playoff, and you're going to have 4 teams get 2-round buys. I have no idea what this final version is going to look like.
Well, because to their point, again, it's eventually going to go to the Big Ten and the SEC. You shouldn't have automatic bigs for those, especially more in the SEC Big Ten versus the Big 12, because you never know. One year the Big 12 might have a great year over the Big 10, and they might look more dominant. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. But again, it's just chaos.
And here's kind of the facetiousness we hear in your voice, you, because whenever we reported the 12 team, we're good to go. But the heartburn was with the SEC and the Big Ten that they wanted 4 spots guaranteed. It wasn't but a day and a half later that, okay, so we're going to go to the 14 teams for 2026. And now, as Shu is reporting from ESPN, saying, well, the backlash is, why are they looking to get their 4 teams per conference, SEC, Big Ten, guaranteed?
How about we just try the 12 first? How about we just start with the 12 and see how that goes? And then if we want to go to 14 down the road, we do that. We're talking about a 14-team playoff. We haven't even gotten started with the 12.
Yeah, let's experience the home playoff games first, and maybe, hey, let's add 2 more for next season. I agree with you.
Oh, well, wait a second. This just broke. The 18-team potential playoff in 2031.
This thing's going to look like the NCAA men's basketball tournament by the time it's all said and done. We're going to have 76 teams in there.
Hey, folks, win G2G protein bars for an entire year. All you have to do is just text G2G to 59925. You can enter daily to increase your chances of winning. That's G2G to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. Again, G2G protein bars now available in the refrigerated section in Costco. Well, coming up, it's our Learner Row. That's all one call. And we'll look at the Cardinals. We'll look at maybe the free agency scenario. We'll look at we'll even let Shu give a little prognostication with some of the top draft choices that are coming down the pike. And we'll see if it's a guarantee they take Marvin Harrison Jr. at that 4 spot, or is he the right guy to take at the 4 spot? It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, live right here from Right Toyota on Fox Sports 910.
Monday on the Drive, can the Suns complete the most impressive week of their season by beating the Celtics? And what about the free agent frenzy for the Cardinals? 6:05 on the Drive, Fox Sports 910, and your free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
There are many signs that you may be in financial trouble. Late mortgage payments, paying bills from your retirement account, or paying one credit card with another. If you're experiencing financial hardship, bankruptcy may be right for you. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is bad and will destroy your credit forever, but that's just not true. At Lerner and Rowe Law Group, we'll take the time to carefully examine your situation and develop a plan that is right for you. Call Lerner and Rowe Law Group today for a free consultation.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sean Forster, Managing Attorney.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
In the fast lane of life, your fuel should keep up. Time to check out G2G protein bars, your ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether it's a workday, gym session, or navigating daily chaos, G2G has got you covered. Find them now at your local Costco in the refrigerated section, or explore all 8 fantastic flavors at G2GBar.com. Great tasting and packed with protein, so keep pace with life in the fast lane with G2G protein bars.
We all know the best offense is a good defense, so it might be time to schedule that vasectomy. Lots of sports betting goes on in March, but your safest bet is to schedule your vasectomy. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings, bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this big happy family?
That'll work.
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Streaming March 14th only on Peacock.
It's the Lerner and Rowe One Call, That's All call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
You know, because you have so many new faces and guys who have seen little time, the scouting report's not exactly deep as Nerd. With the follow, and delivers a hammer. Rebound number 11.
As a Lerner and Rowe One Call, that's all. Interact, need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. They can help. Get a free consultation. Again, one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. NERC with the slam last night. Arizona Family Sports. Special thanks to them. Guys, we were kind of ended there with, talking about where this Arizona Cardinals team could go. As we had mentioned, you got the legal tampering, which starts on Monday. And then, since you're our legal expert here, define legal tampering versus illegal tampering for our audience out there, if you could, please.
Manuch, I'd love to be able to offer a explanation that's going to make sense for this, because it is a bit of an oxymoron. But basically what's going to be allowed is, starting on Monday, a window opens in which teams and players can enter into agreements, can enter into contracts with one another, but those contracts cannot technically be signed until the new league year opens 2 days later on, I believe it is March 13th. So this is the NFL's way of making something up so we have something to talk about on Monday. Because what's going to happen is we're going to get in here to do the show on Monday. That's around the time I think the legal tampering period opens. And then every insider in the world is going to have 57 scoops on a bunch of contracts that are going to be signed, and it's going to be chaos on Monday. So it should be a lot of fun.
So for a lot of folks out there, we were talking about Russell Wilson's been given permission to go out there and talk to a lot of teams. He hasn't been officially released yet. So what's the difference there, Counselor, for allowing him, since he hasn't been officially, air quotes, released yet, to go out and talk to people before people talking to everybody else legally on Monday?
Yeah, the difference is that if there were to be tampering that would take place, it would be the Denver Broncos who would have to apply that grievance, right? So if they feel like a team talked to Russell Wilson improperly, they would file a grievance and say, hey, this team tampered. Well, they are telling Russell Wilson, we don't want you anymore. Okay, we're done. We would like a new quarterback. Okay. So as a show of goodwill, they're saying, go tamper all you want, Russ. We're not going to say anything. We're just going to look the other direction. So it is technically tampering, but the Broncos are basically admitting, hey, we're giving you permission. Go talk to other teams. We're going to turn a blind eye to it. All good on our end. You're going to be not our problem in 2 days anyway on March 13th, 14th. So go right ahead, Russ. Do whatever makes you happy.
Which leads you to our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. For a free quote, repair, installation, head to state48roofing.com and follow them on social media by searching hashtag sexy roof status. With the NFL free agency starting on Monday, as Shu alluded to, what position should be their priority? Just go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Should be number 1, defensive line, number 2, offensive line, number 3, cornerback, or number 4, receivers. So again, just go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter and go that route. Okay, so for you, Jax, which way you leaning, and what are some of the who are going to be some of the usual suspects for you when you look at the State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day?
I think for free agency, you want to get guys with immediate impact. You want to get some veterans. I think the defensive line needs to be the number 1 priority in free agency, and a guy that I know it sucks that the facility's got a bad grade, but I don't really think as a player the facilities being a low grade is a big deal. I think the head coach being an A-, you've got an aspiring and a young GM that we've seen make moves last year with more cap space this year. I'd go after Christian Wilkins from the Dolphins. This is a guy that's a young player. He's a vocal. He's a leader. He's a captain. This is a guy that can anchor your defense. You've got a vocal leader in Budda Baker. You've got a guy in Zaven Collins and another guy, Kaiser White, who was impressive until he got hurt last year. Christian Wilkins, if you want to go and make a splash and kind of win your fan base back to get some of those season tickets, I think Christian Wilkins is a guy, dream scenario that the Arizona Cardinals should go after.
Currently right now, guys, at cornerback is the lead at 38.5%, followed by a tie. Defensive line and offensive line at 23.1%. Wide receiver, 15.4%. And me being an offensive guy, I also voted defensive line because I think if you get that front seven, that stalwart front seven, as proven by the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs, the 2 teams in the Super Bowl, and the constant for the Chiefs winning back-to-back Super Bowls has been that front seven. So if you can stop teams, get that that offense off the field, give your offense a chance and control the football, that's the area, that's the way that I'd like to see them go. And again, I mean, they've got the cap space. They've got the money to go ahead and go buy, you're going to buy, you have one hit, one splash, or do you spread the money out and get the depth like they did last year? I'd like to see a couple splashes this year.
Well, because last year they only had around 23 million. Now they've got double that at 51 million and potentially more depending on what they want to do with DJ Humphries. He's a talented player at the tackle position, but he's always injured. His contract, I think he's owed 15 million, and I think if they released him something around 8 to 10 million, they would free up with DJ Humphries. But I'll throw it to Shu. State 48 Roofing, it's your call question of the day. I know it's your favorite. What's your answer?
You know what? This is a good one. I kind of gave Manuch a hard time yesterday.
Way to bounce back.
His poll question, but yeah, it's a nice bounce back question. Listen, this is tough because I think you can make a legitimate case for all 4 of these. I think the fact that all 4 of these are close and we are discussing all 4 of them goes to show you that they probably are strongly considering trading out of their pick at number 4 to get more draft capital to be able to address more of these needs. But just looking at free agency, guys, I think they've got to make a big splash, hit a home run on a top wide receiver. They need a number 1 target for Kyler Murray because I don't think they can afford. Because, guys, while while it all seems to us that they're going to go into next season with Kyler Murray as their starting quarterback, right? I think we can put to bed the idea of them trading him and taking a quarterback. That's over. If you're going to do that, you need to surround him with talent. And drafting a wide receiver at number 4, listen, I love Marvin Harrison Jr. just as much as everybody else does. He's still going to be a rookie. And is that the best way to support Kyler Murray? Or is it to go get a Tyler Boyd, to go get a Calvin Ridley? Is one of those guys going to give you a better look at what Kyler Murray looks like now, more than a year back from that injury, a better supporting cast around him, another year in this system? What is going to give you the best opportunity to evaluate this offense? And so for me, it needs to be a wide receiver, but you can make a case for any of these positions.
3. Yeah, and I look at this, and then you bring up the great conundrum for Monty Ossenfort, the GM for the Cardinals, is, to your point, if we trade out, we better have at least 2 damn good picks that can come in and be impactful or start or make a difference. Now, I like Marvin Harrison Jr. as that 4th pick if he's available. But if he's not available, guys, let's just say, I'll throw this at you. If he's not available at 4, let's say somebody takes him. Let's just say that New England, who's got that 3rd pick, they're not comfortable with the quarterbacks. But they go, man, this kid is a generational wide receiver, a very much a Larry Fitzgerald, or name the other. You look at several of the other receivers that come down the pike last 20 years, and they pick them. And at that 4th spot, who's your backup guy? Is it the next best or the other receiver, the other 2 receivers who are top notch, or do we move down, give us an excuse to move down and get a couple picks?
Yeah, and this is the conundrum. This is the $1 million question. What's going to allow Monty Ossenfort to be able to entertain this idea of a trade back more realistically is him taking the $50+ million, 6th most cap space entering legal tampering on Monday in the National Football League. If he takes that money and he feels he gets himself a corner, he gets himself some defensive line help, he gets himself a receiver, he gets himself some depth offensive line. If you are able to use that $50+ million and address some of those needs, you can take a step back, sit in your chair and go, okay, I've got this figured out. I've got this figured out. I don't have to hit a home run with number 4. I can trade back to maybe 8 to 10. I can take another player who we think's a home run and get even more draft capital. Because, guys, let's face it. We don't feel that this team is 1, 2, 3 players away from making that leap. We think it's possible that with a very good offseason, spending all that money, using all the draft capital, they can begin that climb. But they are still far away. So I think trading down, it appears they love Dallas Turner just based on Monty Ossenfort's reaction to what he did at the Combine. I don't think he would be in play at 4. I think he would be the perfect player for them to trade down and try to get maybe at 8 or 10 a little bit further down. But yeah, this is a really tough decision for Monty Ossenfort. The good thing is he's going to get to spend all this money between Monday and Wednesday, and it's going to give us a clearer picture of what this looks like.
But how much draft capital do you need, though? They've got 7 picks in the top 100. That's a lot of picks. Why not go out? You went down and you could have got Will Anderson Jr. last year, and he ended up being the defensive rookie of the year. You miss out on a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. If he's picked before, I get that, but you could miss out on an offensive or defensive rookie of the year if you trade down, whereas you go and get 4, that pick that you got from the Texans last. I think they got enough draft capital, in my opinion.
So I get it, but the idea of potentially a quarterback hungry team coming up to number 4 to take JJ McCarthy and dangling another first-round pick in front of Monty Ossenfort, I think it's too good to pass up. Because yes, while they have 6 picks inside the top 100, and they're going to get a lot of good players with those 6 picks that are going to help them, having 2 firsts every year, I say this time and time again, creates opportunity for Monty Ossenfort. Because then in the offseason, when he feels like this team is ready to go, he's now got 2 firsts. What if there's a disgruntled wide receiver somewhere? What if there's a disgruntled corner, safety, a position that he really wants? He now has an additional first-round pick that he can go to that team and say, here, I'll give you this.
Sure,
and it doesn't cost them anything. You need to put yourself in a position of strength and opportunity, and I think that's what Monty Ossenfort's trying to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Chubb, right before you said that, is, hey, look, you still got those draft picks you can use as leverage to go make a trade, work that angle in from there too, and go, look, there's a couple guys that we have our eyes on with other teams that if their salary matches our cap, maybe you throw one of those first rounders or that second rounder, whatever, to go get somebody from that standpoint.
But this situation, too, for the Cardinals is perfect because their top 3 needs are the deepest positions in the draft: wide receiver, cornerback, and tackle. So they could get maybe 1 or 2 in a wide receiver position or even a tackle position or even a corner. So it plays, to your point, to get those draft capital, maybe double up on it.
Coming up next, we'll go to Las Vegas and catch up with sports handicapper Scott Spreitzer. Listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 live from Wright Toyota.
Clear. It's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
Couple of deals for the Yotes.
Me too.
NHL trade deadline passed this afternoon.
Because the problem is I normally am looking at the clock when I'm making a point,
this year,
but I've got all my stuff on the other screen here.
Then they dealt Matt Dumba to the Lightning along with a 7th-round pick next year in exchange for a 5th-round pick in 2027. 2 scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts for Merrill Kelly this afternoon as the Diamondbacks are taking on the Cubs. After a 2023 season, which ended in the opener when he suffered a biceps injury, L.J. Collier has agreed to a 1-year deal to return to the Cardinals. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting, taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for pool, poker, and trivia. And now, the new Huss Brewing Company's Roc and Manuch Lager. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Lager drafts.
Hi, I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Recently, Lerner & Rowe was named the 2nd most influential law firm in the United States. Although we have offices in other parts of the country, Glenn and I both live here and raise our families here. We are your local law firm. No other law firm in the state comes close to the experience, reputation, and results as Lerner & Rowe. When you're hurt in a wreck and need a check, call the law firm that can get you the results you need. Call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Hey, it's Gross. Join me, Bauer, and Jackson every Saturday from 11 to 1 live from the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino Arizona for Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fiber Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
I'm up $5,000 this week off NBA bets alone. If you want to catch our sports bets, check out our show, Wager Chasers, Saturdays from 1 to 3, right here on Fox Sports Radio. And if you want to know our daily plays, check us out at wagerchasers.com.
Springtime, the best time of the year here in sunny Arizona. Spring training, spring break, and of course, Duke's on Miller and McDowell. Enjoy this weather on one of their 3 spacious patios. One is smoke-free. Duke's, right on the Greenbelt at Miller and McDowell, has awesome food, great drink specials, and is totally dog-friendly. Meet up with your friends at Duke's for spring training.
Where? Dukes, Miller and McDowell, Scottsdale!
Now open in Rocky Point.
Doug Gottlieb here. Just like in basketball, a successful game plan starts with having the right players. The MVP team at Tractor Supply brings both hustle and heart. That's what really sets them apart. So lace up your sneakers and make winning plays by heading to your local Tractor Supply store today.
Now, sports gamblers, Scott Spreitzer, one of the leaders and most trusted names in the country. Nobody watches and studies games more than he does. From DocSports.com, here's Scott Spreitzer exclusively on with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
You're hot. All right, Scotty, I hope everything's going well there in Vegas. It's Manuch alongside Jackson Groff as he's filling in for one Roc. Roc's on assignment this afternoon. He's got to go report on the Diamondbacks just to make sure everything is copacetic out there, that after the Zach Allen start yesterday, that life is good. So just want to kind of let you know that we're going to bring it at you hard and fast. You ready? You sitting down? You got your seatbelt on?
I'm ready to fire away, guys.
All right, now we've got, let me see if I get this correct. We got college hoops going on, men's and women's, NBA, baseball, indoor football league. We've got golf, UFL/XFL. I think South Korean baseball is going to get started up here too. Have I missed anything? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. A National Hockey League. We got college hockey. Isn't there like 95 different things going on this time of the year? And by the way, when do you sleep when you're handicapping all this stuff?
You didn't even bring up the slap fest that they now have in Las Vegas.
My
you know?
bad.
You guys are slapping each other across the face. You know, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I tend to stay focused on the sports I know best and try not to get involved with all the peripheral sports, and it's worked for me over the years. So, yeah, I mean, college basketball, NBA, both footballs, you know, the whole thing. It's about as far as I want to go.
Scott, how do you analyze, next week college basketball getting into conference championship week and conference tournaments? How do you kind of analyze those tournament games being a neutral site versus those normal college basketball games? Especially this year, we've seen so many, home dogs win because of the home court advantage. How do you kind of evaluate those, either the mid-majors and the Power Five?
Well, it'll be neutral sites, though, next week, correct? Vegas will have a lot
neutral site versus a home court advantage.
Yeah, I actually, over the years, more often than not, I've tended to like these, opening conference tournaments that are, kind of like people don't really pay a whole lot of attention to them, the average fan, but the bettors do, because a lot of those first game or two in the tournaments are on home floors. But once it switches to neutral, there's some angles that I follow, and you guys know I'm not a big angle or trend guy in the regular season in any sport, but I look to follow angles when it gets to the postseason. And they continue to win. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Indiana State today, they wouldn't cover in the Mo Valley in the early game today. You go back 10, 11 years now in the Missouri Valley, and if you've got a team that's favored by more than 6 points, they're 27-13 against the spread in the conference tournament. They're 2-0 so far this year. So that does come into play. You do see certain trends and angles in postseason conference tournaments that last for a long time, a decade or more. And I tend to try to follow those as much as possible. I don't bet them blindly, like yesterday with Belmont and the Mo Valley. They fit that Missouri Valley trend that I just mentioned of 10 years. And I'll jump in and I'll handicap those games first. And you can usually find, 2 or 3 per day that, really come into play. I would never recommend betting anything blindly, but if you ever do, it would be these conference tournament angles that last for a decade.
He's Scott Sprites. You can find him at docsports.com, or you can tweet him at Scott Wins. We're going to go a little NBA today, Scott, if you don't mind. Let's start it off with some good NBA games tonight and this weekend. And I got to tell you what, as far as the Suns are concerned, just real quick, the Raptors might have been the last probably worst team they're going to face. They've got the number one toughest schedule to go out the last 19 games of the NBA. And those teams right now fighting to stay out of the play-in tournament versus the regular tournament.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, my lone play last night at the NBA was Toronto plus 10.5. And it wasn't like an indictment against Phoenix or anything like that. It was a situation that they were off the road win at Denver, and they had Boston coming up next. And I thought if there's any situation, where a team can get up, double digits and then kind of coast to a victory, that would be it. So we made a play on Toronto. And they were down by more than the spread for a good chunk of the game, but ended up covering that number. So, yeah, as far as the Suns, man, it's not getting any easier. I hope they enjoyed last night with Boston coming up, tomorrow, I believe.
Tomorrow night, exactly. All right, number one, this first game, we got Timberwolves at the Cavs. The over-under is 207.5, Scott.
Yeah, I went ahead and this line has gone from Cleveland +1, that's where it was about 12 hours ago, to now Cleveland laying 2.5. And I jumped on Cleveland when they were getting a point. I still think they're a decent play here. I know you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Max Strus, you got Evan Mobley. They're all sidelined for the Cavs. But having said that, it's all baked into the number by the books. And Minnesota has learned, of course, that they'll be without Karl Anthony Towns for quite some time. And then added today, and one of the reasons this number has moved towards Cleveland, is that Anthony Edwards is now questionable with a sore ankle for the T-Wolves. The Cavs were off last night. Minnesota, they were involved in a 2-point game with the Pacers. I was looking at the box scores last night. Minnesota's regulars saw a ton of minutes last night. So I expect it to take a toll here in the second half. And then if you look at the Cavs, if you do like those angles, they're 9-1 against the spread off a double-digit road loss. And the average final score in those 10 games, they won and beat their opponents 113-101. I think they come through tonight even with the injuries because I do think they were baked into the number by the books.
All right, second game for you, Scott. Miami Heat at the Thunder. Thunder favored by 8.5. The over-unders at 224.5. And looking at the injury report right now, no injured players to the Thunder, but the Heat have Kevin Love and Hero out. Thunder 24-6 at home. Do you think they cover that spread, Scott?
Yeah, like you said, Love and Hero are out. Richardson was already out from Miami. This team has been taking the floor with missing parts all season long. They still have Jimmy Butler, who's healthy. They're also in their preferred role for bettors, and that's Miami as a road underdog, where they've had some nice money-making runs and results this year. And if they can slow things down to this one and throw a wrench into OKC's temple, the Thunder want to play a quicker pace than the Heat, then maybe they can hang around. I mean, they still have, they've added guys like Terry Rozier, Caleb Martin. They've got Bam Adebayo still to force the Thunder potentially into a half-court game. If Miami could get over playing last night, they've got all the elite metrics, net rating, defensive rating that you would want in a road dog. But guys, like you just set it up. I'm concerned that their key players saw too many minutes last night, and they lack depth with those injuries. So for me, it's a lean towards the Thunder at less than 10.
All right, this is the third game. It's Scott Spreitzer with DocSports.com. You can also tweet him at Scott Wins. All right, Scotty, the Bucks are in L.A. tonight. The over-under is 233.5.
3.
Bucks seem to be a little bit up and down. Lakers don't know how LeBron's head's feeling this afternoon. But that, you just look at it and you go, that's marquee as far as that game. Those two playing each other tonight.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a team that I've ever seen in the 30-plus years I've been doing this where every single game there's an injury report of, two players, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, questionable.
Yep.
Every single game that they play the night before they're listed as questionable, and that's the case here. Looks like AD is going to play. LeBron's listed as questionable. I went against the Bucks the other night when they faced Golden State because the Warriors had just lost by 52 points to Boston in their previous game. We got the win with the Warriors. They turned around and beat the Bucks by 35 points, and they had gotten into that game in Milwaukee. They were on that heater. Doc Rivers slowed the tempo. But paying attention on defense and controlling the tempo against Golden State, much more difficult than slowing down Chicago, Charlotte twice, and the Joel Embiid-less Philadelphia 76ers, which were the teams they were playing well against. But listen, I give the Bucks some credit for that run. It's not yet enough to make me a believer, but as far as tonight's game, they might not have Lillard on the floor, so I tell people to wait and see. He's questionable, but Giannis is expected to play. And now they're in that slot that Golden State was in. Milwaukee off an embarrassing loss. They got routed 125-90. And in the last 76 games as a road favorite, the Bucks are averaging 120 points per game. They give up 112. They're also 47-29 against the number in this spot. I lean to the Bucks here. I think they're going to come out playing hard after getting beat by almost 40.
Lastly, the Pelicans at the 76ers, over-under totals at 223.5. Pelicans, another big spread there, Scott, favored by 7.5 on the road at the Sixers.
Yeah, and it's gone up because of this Sixers team just receiving more bad news by the minute. First of all, everybody knows Embiid's been out there 9-19 without Embiid since he suffered the torn meniscus. But now today, Tyrese Maxey, 26 points per game, 6 assists per game. He's been ruled out tonight with that concussion. And Nicholas Batum is questionable with a foot injury. I mean, that's a lot of brass hitting for a team. And now this banged-up team is also playing their 4th game in 6 nights. So it's tough enough to do that when you've got a full roster. I know they've recently added like Buddy Hield, Kyle Lowry, but this is a really tough spot. So I got to side with where the books went with this one, and that would be the Pelicans.
He's Scott Spreitzer. You can find him at DocSports.com and at Twitter at Scott Wins. All right, Scotty, we'll track you down next Friday as we get ready for the tournament that could happen. We always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
So it's got courtesy of G2G Protein Bars today, and you heard myself and Rock talk about the G2G bars before, and you got to give them a try. They're a perfect healthier snack or even meal replacement. Now, with training all my quarterbacks all the time, I'm always on the go. G2G bars have been a game changer. Not only are they satisfying, they're also gluten-free with 18 grams of protein, and they taste great. They have all kinds of delicious flavors, and you know they're fresh, and they're available at Costco. Just check the refrigerated section, and you'll see what I mean. You can also go online at g2gbar.com, g2gbar.com. G2G Protein Bars now at Costco. Well, coming up next, it's Football 50 as you listen to Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B right here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Rob, it isn't even get to the finals for ball. They got to win it.
Right.
They've been to the finals. Rob, they won't feel any better about getting to the finals and losing than if they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, because at some point you got to pay the piper, Chris, right?
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Today at 5, tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
When we make your meal, this is where we start. Traditional old world recipes passed down through generations. But then we add some modern flair and spice up your Italian dining with contemporary flavor combinations. The result, the perfect fusion of new and old world traditions, and a meal you'll never forget.
Inspired by the comfort and cuisine of a Brooklyn-style pizza parlor, Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar is located at the southeast corner of Loop 101 and Cave Creek Road in Phoenix.
Wright Toyota, the #1 volume Toyota dealer in the state of Arizona, ensures you a buying experience that will exceed all your expectations. Check it out for yourself. Located just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale and online at wrighttoyota.com.
You hear it all the time. Lawyers talk about all their experience, many years of experience with insurance companies, and experience in the courtroom. But what they're not talking about is their results. Maybe they don't have any. At Lerner & Rowe, we're proud of our results because that's how we measure our success. We've helped over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, with over $1 billion just in the last 5 years alone. When you want results, call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting, taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a 3-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 533-42.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be.
I hope they're going to run and win the whole thing.
65 or older.
I hope they win the whole Pac-12 tournament.
Risk. So, what?
They just make them fire.
A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today.
Oh yeah.
More at knowpneumonia.com.
No, we patrons that left last year were not very good.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Let's get ready for football!
It's football at 50. The latest top football story trending this hour. Right here with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. On Fox Sports 9 and the iHeartRadio app.
All right, gentlemen, so let me ask you a question. So the VIP tickets for the 2024 NFL Draft are ranging, VIP tickets, okay, mind you, $550 to $5,500. And I imagine those have got to be in suites, right? So we all kind of like it when if the draft comes here to Arizona, which I hope they do in the next few years. Heck, we're going to get the NBA All-Star Game in 2027. What's the most, you two gentlemen, that being one Chris Schubert back at the iHeartRadio studios and one Jackson Groff, what would you pay? Jack, start with you. What's the most you would pay for the NFL Draft? Front row seat, prime filet, you get all the fixes, get the whole 9 yards.
VIP,
you're the dude. You're in the box, man.
$100.
Okay.
I just feel like the NFL Draft is not a very fun event to go to because.
Oh, what a bad take! What a bad take!
What? I mean, you're just sitting there.
No,
you're standing there for 9 minutes until the clock rolls out. You can't even hear the analysis.
Okay, Mr. Draft Guru,
No, listen, $5,500. I'm there. I'm in. I will pay the max. If that's the max for Detroit, I'm there. Listen, I went the first draft I've ever went to. Manuch, you were there with me. We went to Nashville. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. Now, the city matters, okay? I will say this. The city matters. I don't know if Detroit is necessarily going to be able to bring it the way Nashville did or the way Vegas did, right? There's all these cities that can provide different elements. But if you're telling me it's a city that I'm super interested in, yeah, I'm paying the $5,500 for the VIP experience. I love the draft. I love being able to see these cities. It is a cool experience. Once in a lifetime, I'm in.
I got to tell you what, that was a blast. We went to Nashville and Broadway, and to see the thing that was amazing to me, and for me, guys, probably 500 is my limit. I wouldn't do 5,500. I'd do 500, 550, okay, the minimum for the suite, VIP, all the fixing, because for those 2 days, or that just say the one day, I mean the first round, it's phenomenal. We were doing the radio show out there, and I've never seen what they have show, almost 300,000 people on Broadway with that big stage there. It was the most well-behaved crowd, and people, that entire first round, it was awesome. We did our radio show. We go over to the draft, and our radio show was starting to wind down when I think the first picks came in. Wasn't that shoe? And then we saw Kyler Murray come into the interview room and some of those guys.
Yeah, so this was the year Kyler Murray got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. We were there doing the show, and then as we were wrapping up, the first pick got announced, and all of a sudden I just turn in our media area, and I'm like, there's Kyler Murray, and he's going over there where we can go ask him questions. I'm like, oh, maybe I should go over there and do my job. And so we went over there for a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it was great. 300,000 people in Nashville. You have all the bars up and down Broadway playing live music and drinking and partying and having a good time. And, yeah, everybody was just behaving. Nobody was doing anything stupid. It was just a great time. I had a blast.
Yeah, it really was. And, by the way, I'll never forget that. Was an all-pink suit that Kyler Murray had.
Salmon suit, yes.
Salmon suit that he had. But, yeah, I hope that we get the draft here in Arizona. I'm sure they'd have it probably out there at State Farm. I would think.
The big grass field, yeah.
Yeah, the big grass field. I would think that's where they would have it. I can't think of another area downtown like Nashville. Nashville is perfect.
Squeeze in an Old Town.
You know what?
You cannot do that.
It's just the way that Nashville is laid out. The Broadway's, it's a wide street.
And it's a long street. It just goes. It goes all the way to the end.
It seemed like a half mile. It's probably, a quarter mile. But it was perfect. So I think if it was here, it'd be out at State Farm. To your point, Jack's maybe out there on the open lawn with all the areas that are around it. This is kind of a sad story that's going on. Rape survivor and domestic violence victim advocate Brenda Tracy is suing former Michigan State University football coach Mel Tucker of MSU and its governing body for just a cool $75 million. She wants $50 million of that to herself and $25 million for her nonprofit after Tucker sexually harassed her and sexually exploited her. Now, she wanted her name hidden, but it became exposed, and it was put out there. But now she's saying, hey, look, I'm going to sue. But good for her if they find him and the governing body at Michigan State guilty, for her to give that $25 million away to those victims advocates. Real quick before we break here, you got any? The college football playoff is now up to 24 games. How many games now we got?
It's actually a 128-team playoff every single year. We've actually scrapped the regular season. We're just going to play CFP playoff games for the entirety. No, look, the college football playoff was at 12, right, for this upcoming season. Then they talked about going to 14, and the 14 with the auto bids, the auto buys for teams. Well, now the college football playoff reconsidering the automatic buys in the 14-team playoff, and everything's on the table, according to sources inside the college football playoff. I think my favorite part of this story, guys, is I'm sitting here and I have the story up on ESPN from Heather Dinich, and it says, sources, CFP reconsidering auto buys in 14-team format. If you scroll down a little bit, it says, editor's picks. It gives you, these cool stories to look at. One of them, sources, optimism building for 14-team playoff 9 days ago. A lot can change in 9 days, because now the 14-team playoff might be off the table completely.
I'm afraid to ask Jax for any kind of updates in college and or National Football League, because something might have changed in that last minute about the college football playoffs. But Jax, what do you got over there?
Yeah, college basketball-wise, Washington has informed their head coach, Mike Hopkins, that he will not return next season. Washington came off a big road upset last night against 16 Washington State. He will coach in the Pac-12 tournament. and any postseason play. Imagine Washington makes a run in the Pac-12 tournament, wins the Pac-12 tournament, automatic bid, and somehow squeaks their way past and makes a long run.
What are the odds? And sure, you said that during the break. You'd love to see this guy win the Pac-12 championship.
Go Huskies.
Yeah, this guy.
Let's go on a run, baby. Let's go on a run.
Yeah, he's going to take your team to the Pac-12, to the tournament, to the dance.
Yeah, but don't feel too bad for Mr. Mike Hopkins. His buyout's $3.1 million, all right? So he's going to be fine, but that Washington tax is going to take a bunch of that out.
How about that? Washington beats Wazoo last night, but it'll all get started. I think it gets started Wednesday. Will be the Pac-12 conference tournament. That'll be in Las Vegas. Little random fact here, fellas. Simon Fraser University in British Columbia, Canada, is the only school outside of the U.S. that competes in the NCAA. Now, they're Division II school in 16 sports, including basketball and soccer. They also had a football program up to last year. So, Jax, were you recruited by Simon Fraser?
I was not. Only Franklin Pierce out of Vermont, a Division II school, and then Montana.
Remember this, folks. Not this has anything to do with us, but if you got relatives living back east or on the left coast, if you will, most of the country will change their clocks on Sunday. Here we go. There are basically some things you want to make sure before you do all that, and here they are. You have a few things you want to check as this goes on. Now, we don't change, folks. We're not changing whatsoever. We don't spring forward and fall back, so to speak. Want to make sure you change the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. We did that 2 months ago at the Manucci household. Restock your emergency kit. By the way, either one of you have an emergency kit?
Do not.
Okay.
Define emergency kit. I got a bunch of Band-Aids and like gauze and stuff in a box in my house.
We've got that. We're kind of the same way. We kind of have it in a drawer. Like the Bactine and those type of things.
If the zombies come, Manuch, I'm not prepared for them.
Okay.
They win, okay?
Okay, let me ask you guys this. Clean out your fridge and pantry and medicine cabinet. How often you guys do spring cleaning with your pantry or your fridge? You just did.
Yeah, just did it. Just clean the fridge, freezer, the garage, fridge, and the pantry. We're good.
Oh, that's good.
20.
Hey, we're going to get to our locks. We'll get that in the next hour. But coming out hour 3, get you caught up on today's top stories.
10.
And GCU TV color analyst Scott Williams joins us at 3:30. That's all next on Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B right here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
A homeowner just like you decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
Okay.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
When we make your meal, this is where we start. Traditional old world recipes passed down through generations. But then we add some modern flair and spice up your Italian dining with contemporary flavor combinations. The result, the perfect fusion of new and old world traditions and a meal you'll never forget.
Inspired by the comfort and cuisine of a Brooklyn-style pizza parlor, Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar is located
we don't have a lock, so
southeast corner of Loop 101 and Cave Creek Road in Phoenix.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Alternative Rewind, where all rock began. Just search Alternative Rewind and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
Free never sounded so good.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Spring training is back at Salt River Fields for your Arizona Diamondbacks and Colorado Rockies. Single game tickets are on sale now. Get yours at saltriverfields.com today.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Hi, I'm Burt Ward, Robin from TV's Batman, inviting you to feed your dog natural, non-GMO, Gentle Giants dog and puppy food. Dogs eating Gentle Giants and following our special feeding and care program are living as long as 27 healthy, active years with a wonderful quality of life. Holy wow, 27 years! Think of all the extra years you could enjoy with your dog. At Petco, Stater Brothers, H-E-B, and more. Try Gentle Giants cat and kitten food, too.
Hey everyone, it's Joe Montana. Spreading the word about pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older like me, you're at increased risk. So, what's the game plan? A strong defense. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time in any season, so you shouldn't wait to help protect yourself. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination today and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free never sounded so good.
College basketball, the regular season finishes up for the Sun Devils, who face UCLA. The Wildcats will take on USC. Grand Canyon will visit Cal Baptist, and AU takes on Idaho State in the Big Sky Tournament. At the NHL trade deadline today, the Coyotes moved Jason Zucker to the Predators. The Yotes received a 6th-round pick in the deal. They also sent Matt Dumba and a draft pick to the Lightning in exchange for a late-round pick. And the Cardinals are bringing back defensive lineman L.J. Collier on a one-year deal. He played in one game for them last season before being injured. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Look for mostly cloudy skies tonight with temperatures dropping down to 50 degrees. And then on Saturday, sunny with a high of 75. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Anita Roman.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Hour number 3 of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jackson Groff here with me out here at Wright Toyota. Hope you're having a great day. You got Chris Schubert back at the iHeart Studios spinning the tunes back there for us. I got to imagine some of the top stories going on right now is that the Suns, they did take care of business last night and beat the Toronto Raptors. And then now it's pretty much you got the Boston Celtics coming in tonight as we got it going on here.
More importantly, somebody set off an alarm.
Yeah,
Toyota while you guys are doing the top headlines. That's the top story. I mean, come on.
There.
I know you tried to just run right through that.
Someone tried to break into a Tesla here
right
at
in front
Toyota.
of you guys are. I know where that setup is. You're staring right down the hallway. You can see everybody. What are they doing over there?
Yeah, we had somebody get into the fine Tesla that's right here. So they got a plethora of certified pre-owned vehicles. Right here in the showroom. And then
Great job by everybody involved to get that taken care of in a quick manner.
Good.
Oh, no, it's
I just don't understand why they locked the vehicle. How does that even happen inside a Wright Toyota when you want to see, obviously you put it in the store where customers can go in and see the vehicle.
Hey, and here's the thing, and Schubert can attest to this. We're just very lucky nobody fires up one of those bad boys about 5 feet from our set right here.
Because it's happened before, and that's why we can talk about this. I have been sitting, Jax, where you normally sit on a Friday show is where I used to sit, and people, they would come in and they would move the cars and they would turn them on, and just the exhaust would just hit me in the face. And I'm like, trying to do a show here, folks. Just don't mind me.
And Rock and I look at Schubert and go, he's starting to turn white. And we're like, okay, we just go for a little fresh air. But that does happen when you're at a fine dealership at Wright Toyota right here at 78th Street and Franklin Wright Boulevard, Wright Toyota. Right here, right on the price, right on the corner, Wright Toyota. As I was mentioning before, this Tesla in front of me rudely interrupted our conversation. Suns took care of business. Got the Boston Celtics in town tomorrow night. And as they're saying, all those pundits out there, and I can attest to it, you look at the Suns' schedule moving forward, gentlemen, 18, 19 games left, probably, if not the toughest schedule in the NBA. Just again, Boston at home. I imagine all of the Beantowners will be in full force and effect tomorrow night down there at the Footprint.
Yeah, and I think the Celtics are going to come into town frustrated after 2 tough losses, blowing a 22-point lead in the fourth quarter without a Donovan Mitchell-ish Cavaliers team, and letting some guy from K-State, Dean Wade, score 20 on you in the fourth quarter.
Every man a
and
Wildcat.
Then coming back being down 11, 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter against the Nuggets, and they came back. They were down 2 points with an opportunity to win or even tie the ball game, and they couldn't finish that one. So I think for the Suns, crucial turnovers against a great team like the Celtics. But again, those are the type of matchups, we're former athletes, Manuch. Those are the type of matchups you want to compare. Okay, I know you don't have Devin Booker in the lineup, but you want to see how you match up against the one. Most are saying the top team in the NBA being the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I mean, you look at this tough schedule. Why would you not want the tough schedule? And I think this will bode very, very well for this Suns team to get the big three back on a consistent basis. So hopefully, if Devin Booker's not back tomorrow night, hopefully he gets back, early next week. So after tomorrow night's game, Boston, they travel to Cleveland, and I'm sure he's going to go on the road trip. So maybe he plays against Cleveland, but I think the date that they were targeting is next Thursday's game at Boston. So you look at Boston tomorrow night, at Cleveland, then Boston next week, next Thursday on the road, and then Charlotte, and then at Milwaukee. So you look at that Boston, Cleveland, Boston again, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and then back here in Philadelphia a week from Wednesday night as they get things going. So it's going to be a tough road to hoe, but just getting the big three, getting this bench settled in, or I should say the rotation settled in. And Jax, you bring up the point a little bit earlier about, hey, how do you not start Grayson Allen? How do you not keep him in the lineup as hot as he is right now from three-point land?
Yeah, get him going early. Look, I think the fourth quarter is going to be big for the Suns. If they can get out to a lead early and kind of hold that lead as long as possible. The Celtics are the best fourth quarter team in the NBA. The Suns being the worst. This has got to be a game for them where they flip the switch from that standpoint. But early odds right now, Boston a 4.5-point favorite at the Suns. So if those who want to bet on it early, 4.5 will be the spread for tomorrow.
I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little baseball with Chris Schubert, our resident counselor / baseball extraordinaire, draft, fantasy, whatever. Zach Allen yesterday, 2 hits, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, yeoman's job, first outing of the spring training.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed we don't have the StatCast data from this game. During the regular season, there's StatCast at all the ballparks, so we can see different things that can help us see if Zach Allen is in, midseason form, if he's where he's supposed to be, right? We can look at certain indicators and see average fastball velocity, break on certain pitches. We can see all that stuff. Well, in spring training, they don't have the StatCast technology at all these games yet. So all we have is what our eyes told us and what the box score is able to tell us. And look, it was his first outing. You just take it, you move on, you file it away, and you move on to the next one. I think the more interesting thing in the baseball world today, guys, the Dodgers defense, infield-wise, is a bit of a problem right now. They are throwing the ball all over the place to the point where Dave Roberts came out today and said Mookie Betts is now going to be the team's starting shortstop going into the season. So guy that was an outfielder, played a little second base, was becoming the primary second baseman. The left side of the infield for the Dodgers defensively has been so bad that Mookie Betts is now going to move over and play short moving forward. So that's something to file away and keep an eye on as well.
You think about the Dodgers overall, him at shortstop. I think when Turner was at third base, who was at shortstop when Mookie was at second base a couple years ago?
The Corey Seager era?
Seager, there you go. Yeah, Seager. And then who was the kid that was there, went on to Philadelphia last year?
Trey Turner.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that, they can pay the dough, but for the Dodgers to struggle with an infield or have to move guys around. Now, Mookie Betts is one of the best all-around baseball players in Major League Baseball. Let's face it. Outfield, second base, shortstop. I mean, he's just a baseball player. Like folks will say, that kid's just a great football player. But that's interesting that they might have a few issues. A chink in the armor, you think there, Shu, at all?
Three things that could dismantle what is supposed to be a really good season. Their defense, their bullpen, and do they get healthy enough in terms of their starting rotation, right? Because we look at their starting rotation right now, and it's got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who they got from Japan, right? He's an unknown right now. Everybody thinks he's going to be really good, but he's an unknown right now. They got Tyler Glasnow, who they got from Tampa Bay in a trade. He's never been a guy that's given you a lot of innings. Bobby Miller, a younger player. James Paxton, a veteran arm. Can you ask him to make 28 to 30 starts? Probably not. Gavin Stone, another younger player. No Walker Buehler. He's going to come back. But what kind of workload do you want to put on him? Clayton Kershaw, probably not going to be around till the late summer, if at all. So if there are things that could dismantle this season, it is the quality of the starting pitching, their bullpen may be betraying them, and then this infield defense. And I would rank them, infield defense, their starting pitching, and their bullpen as terms of things that would be concerns for me 1 through 3.
You know, one of the things you never really hear about is the Dave Roberts as a manager, pure manager. I've always thought he's done a great job, but he's had the horses the last several years, and they've fallen short from going to the World Series, except for a few short years ago. You know, you look at him as an overall manager, he manages. He goes very well. I think he does a great job as far as handling the team. But if there's one glitch, you just wonder. I think this might be one of his legacies, and this is something that followed Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys as a head coach. The Cowboys used to always get there. They were always the great bridesmaid, always the runner-up, until he finally broke through and won a couple Super Bowls. I don't know if I put Dave Roberts in that category, but this is something where it's going to have to be, if a lot of these things you laid out, one of Dave Roberts' best managerial years with all of this on top of him, plus being favored to win it all once again.
Sure, but we have all these concerns, but I have their projected opening day roster up next to me, and they still have Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman in their lineup. They're going to win most days with those three guys out there. And with Ohtani recovering from the injury, he's not going to throw, so he's going to be able to be your DH every day. Now, yes, you're probably going to want to take it easy with him. You're going to find days off, but you don't have to worry about dealing with him pitching and throwing and needing to work through your rotation and figure out where you're going to slot him in. He's just going to be a DH, and the top of your lineup every day is going to be some combination of Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman. That's a good place to be. That they're going to be able to overcome some of those other things because they're just going to be able to score so often and so much every single night.
Yeah, they're just a juggernaut machine. That is definitely for sure. Last but not least, this is kind of interesting when I see this. Baker Mayfield, folks, is still not signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Mike Evans signed that big contract, the majority of it being guaranteed. And Mike Evans basically took, I don't know if I'd call it a hometown discount. He wanted to stay at Tampa because of Baker Mayfield and the progress that they showed, and going to the playoff game was the quarterfinals against the Detroit Lions. Could you imagine if Baker not happy with Tampa Bay's offer and he moves on, and Mike Evans, what reportedly is staying because of Baker Mayfield, how that would look and how Mike Evans would feel if his quarterback moved on from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Don't waste your breath, Manuch. I think he's staying with the Buccaneers.
I do too.
You always, everyone always, right now there's not a lot of football going on. We always have these hypotheticals going back and forth. But again, there is a possible chance that Baker Mayfield would leave and the Buccaneers would have to panic and go after a quarterback. But it's very unlikely. I think Baker Mayfield likes the system. I think he likes Mike Evans and Godwin. I think he's staying there.
I'll tell you what, Baker might be feeling himself a little bit after the 1-year contract. He proved it that if he wants more money, I agree with you. I think he stays. He takes whatever they feel is the best scenario for him. But he can go shop and shoot. Jackson, he can go shop and go make those things happen to put himself back out there. But could you imagine? Just think if Mike Evans could do a do-over or something along those lines. Hey, folks, bet the game. Watch the game. The Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. They have 3 live betting windows and 6 self-service betting kiosks, plus 8 screens displaying all the betting lines. Check it out for yourself. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona, right there at 101 and McKells. Coming back, we'll go with some of the top stories, elaborate on some of the things National Football League, the Suns, and it's our locks of the week. All that and much more right here on Fox Sports 910.
Monday on the Drive, can the Suns complete the most impressive week of their season by beating the Celtics? And what about the free agent frenzy for the Cardinals? 6:05 on the Drive, Fox Sports 910, and your free iHeartRadio app.
Valley traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
On the I-17 southbound, we have an accident near 7th Street blocking up the left lane. 101 westbound approaching the I-17 in the North Valley. Watch for a crash reported there. And on Grand Avenue eastbound at Litchfield Road, we have an accident.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Offer ends 4/6. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Hey sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
If you haven't tried G2G protein bars, today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at g2gbar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Have you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? It happens more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner & Rowe Law Group handles DUI and all other criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think to get the defense you need. If the police made a mistake, call Lerner & Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Hey, it's Gross. Join me, Bauer, and Jackson every Saturday from 11 to 1 live from the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona for Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar.
It's finally here, spring training baseball, and that means peanuts, popcorn, and sunflower seeds, and a stop at Venezia's Pizzeria after the game for some of our fan favorites, like pizza, wings, and calzones. Venezia's uses family recipes to make the famous Venezia's pizza dough and sauces from scratch, giving you that authentic Italian taste. 6 Valley locations. Order now at Venezia's.com or on the Venezia's app right from your seat and pick it up on the way home. Always a home run with Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder is jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Number 1 Houston will be looking for revenge as they entertain number 14 Kansas tomorrow afternoon. Last month, the Jayhawks blew out the Cougars at Allen Fieldhouse by 13. 5th-ranked Arizona handled UCLA and clinched first place in the Pac-12 regular season standings ahead of next week's tournament. The Coyotes dealt Jason Zucker to Nashville today and Matt Dumba to Tampa Bay, getting late-round picks in return. I'm Frank Garrity.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Tractor Supply.
Doug Gottlieb here. Just like in basketball, a successful game plan starts with having the right players. The MVP team at Tractor Supply brings both hustle and heart. That's what really sets them apart. So lace up your sneakers and make winning plays by heading to your local Tractor Supply store today.
Wake up with The Drive. Jody Ayler, Monday from 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910 and on our free iHeart Radio app.
Hey, before we get to our locks of the week, I want to get to our State 40 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. With the NFL free agency starting on Monday, legal tampering, what position should be the Arizona Cardinals' priority? You can go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Should it be the defensive line? Should it be the offensive line? Should it be cornerback? Or should it be wide receiver? Again, just go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Currently, the leader in the clubhouse, cornerback, at 38.5%, followed by a tie. Defensive line and offensive line at 23.1%. And last but not least, wide receiver at 15.4%. I would have thought people would have shined more toward the offer defensive line. I voted defensive line, quite frankly. That's where I lean. I think a front seven, a solid front seven. When you look at the last, heck, you can look at the last 5 Super Bowl winners. Look at the Chiefs' last Super Bowl victories in a row. Their front seven. You look at Chris Jones somewhat leading that charge in their linebacking core. So currently right now, cornerback, the lead for those Arizona Cardinals right now.
Yeah, cornerback's interesting. You mentioned the Chiefs. McDuffie, the home run pick for them in the draft. L'Jarius Sneed, another one they got from the draft. But the quarterback position, too, and Shu, you can touch on this. The cornerback position and the safety position in the last 24 hours has got to be the hot topic of all these cornerbacks getting released. You talk about Maddox from the Eagles, talk about Patrick Peterson, and some mediocre guys that are, around 27, 28 years old that the Cardinals could get in there for $5 million and fill in.
And shoot, didn't the entire secondary of the Buffalo Bills get released the other day as well, too?
Yes.
Poyer,
White, and the Seahawks.
Yeah, they're all available via free agency. Yeah, the safety market is weird, right? Because the Kansas City Chiefs put the franchise tag on L'Jarius Sneed, but it's the non-exclusive tag, and they are open to trading him if they're unable to get to a long-term deal. So you have that. We talked about Poyer and White from the Bills. So the defensive back market is an ongoing developing one, and you got a pretty decent corner class in the 2024 NFL draft as well. So that's something that could play into this as well. So something to keep an eye on ahead of free agency next weekend.
Do you think, and I throw this out at your shoe with contracts, guys are released, and I've told a lot of people, doesn't mean they can't come back under a new contract, rework their contract. Now, I would have thought a lot of general managers would have tried to redo their contract, but these guys probably said, you know what, I want to go test the free agent market. You're letting me go, and let me see how it is. And then they could maybe come back to that team. And I got to say this, guy, you talk about the Buffalo Bills, and we're not exactly off mark by saying their entire secondary got let go. I believe, and I don't know about you guys, I believe the last 2 years were the years that the Bills would have had to close the deal to win a Super Bowl with all that talent on defense and the talent they have on offense right now. They still got some guys signed, that are still on top. But Morris, their center, got let go. I think not that the window's closed completely, but I think that the window for the Buffalo Bills, as far as winning it all, the Super Bowl, is pretty much tight or shut tight with a lot of the high-priced salary guys they had to let go, Shu.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to be the guy that comes on the radio and says a team that has Josh Allen at quarterback is unable to win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to be me. I'm not going to do it. But they have certainly changed the way they're going about this. Now, when you give a quarterback that kind of money, and Josh Allen in comparison isn't making a ton with the contracts that we're starting to see, but when you're up there and you're taking up such a massive percentage of the cap, there are places where you do have to reorganize and you have to reallocate and you have to change the way you approach things. And I think this is one version of that for the Buffalo Bills. But to your earlier question about those players potentially returning, yes, but it's going to be on a number that makes sense for the team. There's a reason why they let those players go. They obviously thought either one, this player can't play at the level we need him to anymore, or two, this player is making too much money for us right now, and we believe they're a very easy cap casualty for us right now. But if the sides are able to work out a deal where it now makes sense financially, yeah, you can see these teams, reconvene with these players down the road. But I think early on, these players from the Bills, wherever else they've been cut from, are going to look elsewhere before they return potentially for a reunion down the road. But yeah, at this stage, everything's on the table.
And I got to tell you, I think Josh Allen, that team, the last 5 or 6 games they caught fire, did a hell of a job. Wasn't because of Josh Allen ain't the Super Bowl. They just ran into a hot Kansas City Chiefs team that pretty much shut down the Bills in Buffalo, and they played a very, very good game. So I think hopefully, me personally, being a former Buffalo Bill, would love to see the Bills finally win a Super Bowl title after going through those early 90s of 4 in a row and not winning anything. For the city of Buffalo and the fans there, phenomenal fans, phenomenal people. You just hope that at some point they can definitely win that Super Bowl. All right, guys, let's get to our locks of the week. All right, Jax, give us a little update from last week.
Yeah, so I was not here last week, and me being a dumb butt, I did not submit my pick.
What's up with that?
I bye week there. That's on me. I'll hand up accountability. I'll do my push-ups later. But we have 2 winners from last week. Roc had the Celtics minus 9.5 against the Mavericks. That hit. And Chris Schubert also won. He hit the Clippers minus 12.5 against the Wizards. So the standings follow. Manuch in last place. Actually, Shu is in last place, but he's
I'm sorry. I'm going to put a stop to this right now because I think this is ridiculous. I understand I've picked less games than everybody else. I'm the only person that has a winning record. If you don't want to put me in first because I haven't picked as many games, that's fine. But what you're not going to do on the show is put me in last because I'm 12-10-1, and I'm the only person in the locks segment where these are supposed to be winners that I have a winning record.
Your clientele is happy.
Right.
Plus,
so can we not put me in last place, please?
All right. We'll put Manuch in last place, 14-20-2, followed by Shu at 12-10-1, Rock 17-18, and myself 17-17. We're pretty much tied.
I had number 22 Utah State at home versus a very bad Air Force team. My lock was it was a minus 17.5, or I should say Air Force was getting plus 17.5. Utah State wins by 12. It's the last home game, senior night, and they blow it, but they still win by 12. And I thought 17.5 was a lot, but I felt pretty good that Air Force, flying under the radar, pardon the pun, couldn't resist that, goes in there, at least they cover. All right, let's get it going for this week. My lock this week is the Rockets minus 5.5. They're at the Trailblazers. I got the Rockets covering that bad boy. Trailblazers are playing bad basketball. Rockets, they got some game. As they showed, they got into it. They gave the Suns everything they can handle. So they're minus 5.5 at Portland. I'm going to take the Rockets to cover that.
All right, I'm going to go with Creighton minus 1.5 at Villanova. Villanova, one of those bubble teams, like Chris said, Chris Dobertine, we had him on in the first segment, at 1:30. He was talking about how Villanova kind of needs to win out and make a deep run in the Big East to kind of solidify themselves in the tournament. I think Creighton minus 1.5. If you got a free throw battle later on, they make good free throws. They're a veteran team. I like Creighton on the road minus 1.5.
All right, Shu.
Yeah, so listen, I understand the accusation that's going to come my way right now, and I'm ready for it because I have proof that I've done this. But I took a game that you guys talked with in hour number 2 with Scott Spitzer. Problem is, I already picked the game before he talked about it. He just confirmed how I felt about it. You can check the tape of when I typed it in. It was before Scott was on the show.
I saw you did.
Give me the Thunder minus 8.5 against the Heat. The Heat playing a back-to-back. They're without some of their key players. Most of their big-time players played more than 35 minutes last night. This Thunder team is really good, really solid, really young. I'll take the Thunder minus the 8.5 against the Heat.
And then what does Rock have over there, Jax?
Rock has Arizona to cover. They're 11.5-point favorite at USC.
Well, 11.6 according to the doc. So he's actually taking them not at 11.5, at 11.6.
I've never heard of 11.6.
I don't know where he got that line from, but
is that a new something new there in Las Vegas? That's interesting. Hey, I want to let you all know that you can win a G2G protein bars for an entire year. That's right, entire year. All you have to do is just text G2G to 59925. You can enter daily to increase your chances of winning. That's G2G to 59925, or I like to say 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. G2G protein bars now available in the refrigerated section in Costco. Well, the GCU Lopes play their last regular season game tomorrow night at Cal Baptist. What will they have as they hopefully head to March Madness? Well, TV color analyst Scott Williams gives us his thoughts next as you listen to Roc and Manuch right here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear. Here's what's trending on Sports 910 Phoenix.
2 scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts for Merrill Kelly this afternoon as the D-backs are taking on the Cubs. Couple of deals for the Yotes at the NHL trade deadline. They shipped Jason Zucker to Nashville, getting back a 6th-round pick this year, originally owned by the Dallas Stars. Then they dealt Matt Dumba to the Lightning along with a 7th-round pick next year in exchange for a 5th-round pick in 2027. And after a 2023 season, which ended in the opener when he suffered a biceps injury, L.J. Collier back with the Cardinals, the two sides agreeing to a 1-year deal. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Look for mostly cloudy skies tonight with temperatures dropping down to 50 degrees. And then on Saturday, sunny with a high of 75. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Anita Roman.
This report is sponsored by Albertsons and Safeway. This week at Albertsons and Safeway, get red or green Ciba scrapes for $1.27 per pound. Plus, get Signature Select thick sliced bacon for $2.97 per pound with digital coupon. Serve in a 3-pound package for $8.91 each. First 2.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. From tequila cocktails to an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls in the 29-degree drafts. Stop by any 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations today.
In the fast lane of life, your fuel should keep up. Time to check out G2G protein bars, your ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether it's a workday, gym session, or navigating daily chaos, G2G has got you covered. Find them now at your local Costco in the refrigerated section, or explore all 8 fantastic flavors at G2GBar.com. Great tasting and packed with protein, so keep pace with life in the fast lane with G2G protein bars.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today. Maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just turned myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Hey, Joe Montana here. Back in my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia, a bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older, or 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma, you're at increased risk. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Gottlieb here. Just like in basketball, a successful game plan starts with having the right players. The MVP team at Tractor Supply brings both hustle and heart. That's what really sets them apart. So lace up your sneakers and make winning plays by heading to your local Tractor Supply store today.
You're hot. Well, he is the color analyst on the TV side for the GCU Lopes. He's a 3-time NBA champion. And I tell you what, when he brings it, folks. And I got to tell you, on top of that, a North Carolina grad. And I mentioned he's a 3-time NBA champion. That's right. Scott Williams now joining us here on the right Toyota guest line. Scotty, it's Manuch alongside Jax. I understand you're in Salt Lake City. Everything okay up there in Salt Lake?
Yeah, what is going on, y'all? I am up here. I literally just drove on to the campus of BYU. I'll be calling the action for the Big 12 network tomorrow. So doing a little moonlighting, and the Oklahoma State at BYU on the Big 12 network at 7 o'clock. And this Valley resident got off the plane, and it was 31 degrees. I snapped my little wool beanie as fast as I could out of my backpack and slapped it on his bald head. I'm not used to these cold temps since I left Chicago 30 years ago.
Well, you got the Lopes, their last regular season game tomorrow night against Cal Baptist. They've won 8 out of the last 10. But, Scotty, 2-2 the last 4 games. Is the team leaking oil a little bit? Other teams getting wise, or they getting a little run down, or is it just good competition?
Maybe a little bit of both. And here's the thing, though. Yes, they got smacked on the road their last 2 ball games down in Texas to Abilene Christian and Tarleton, but they came back and they righted the ship, and that's what you want to see out of a team that had been rolling. They'd only had 2 losses. How are they going to respond to their first adversity of the season with back-to-back road losses? It also gave the coaches an opportunity to kind of have a little bit more bass in their voice when they were talking to those young guys. They were getting cocky, creeping up on a top 25 ranking, knocking on the door of that. Everyone telling them how great they were. They had one of the nation's longest winning streaks of the season. So now the coaches got their attention again. They went out last ball game, had a big 22-point victory. Their 2 main stars did what they were supposed to do, dropped 29 and 19 points for combined 48 points on high percentage shooting. So you got good contribution off the bench, 18 points off the bench. But, that bench has got to play better on the road. That's the one thing they did not do in those 2 losses in Texas. They got no help from the bench when the starters struggled. And they got to play a good Cal Baptist team tomorrow night. That place, like GCU, is really tough to play in.
Well, it looks as though Grant Foster's caught fire. Was the leading scorer the last 8 games. Tell me about his game, and do you look at his game overall, Scotty, and what has been his strength to be that leading scorer? Have they just relied on him more so?
No, he's a stud. He's going to probably win the comeback player of the year award. Sat out the last 2 years with medical heart issues, and his comeback, and since his first game, he has just been on fire. His strength is he is long, athletic, quick as a cat, and explosive. So he's a shooter that can shoot the 3, but his strength is slashing to the basket, finishing over the top of the slower, smaller Western Athletic Conference defenders. He gets fouled a lot. He gets to the line. He makes his free throws. He was 14 of 14 last time out at getting to that line. So he does a little bit of everything. He'll play the D. He'll get the steals. He'll rebound the ball. He'll block the shots on the weak side. Yeah, the kid's just a real crafty, smart, heady, athletic, long player.
Scotty, when you look at this roster, so deep, and one of the guys that's been there for a while, Gabe McLaughlin, he's about to play in his 152nd game as a college basketball player this Saturday. What has he meant to this GCU team, this GCU program, and what's impressed you from this young man that you've seen in his past 5 years?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's as an announcer, you're not supposed to have favorites, but McLaughlin has been my favorite because he's an old school player, a dirt kind of guy. Doesn't care about his statistics, getting his points or his rebounds as long as the team walks off the floor with that dub. So it's been refreshing to see a guy that goes out there with that work attitude. Not only that, he's a leader, right? He helps the young, big Duke Brennan when he's out there on the floor. When he was kind of struggling, scuffling around for about the first half a dozen games, he really let Duke have the little nuggets that he has learned along the way that has helped him be a better basketball player, and that's so cool to watch.
He's Scott Williams, 3-time NBA champion. He is the GCU TV color analyst, and you can tweet him at ScottWill42. All right, Scotty, you've been watching this team, and Jack's alluded to for many years. You watch these Coach Drew teams over the last few years since he's taken over. What is the common denominator for this team that you've seen with the success, and what do they have to maintain to move this thing forward and hopefully into the dance?
Hey, listen, they can win close ball games, but it's not their strength. Their strength is to get out and run and light up that scoreboard. They like those games in the mid to upper 70s, low 80s. They want 38 to about 40 points each half, keeping the pressure on the other team to have to try to score with them. I guess they don't play any defense because they're really good at shutting teams down, keeping them out of the middle, defending the three-point arc, and keeping them off the free throw line. That's something that they didn't do in Texas real well. They watched the other team shoot 40 free throws in those 2 losses. So that's what they got to do the remainder of this season. Apply the pressure, keep the other team off the foul line, take care of the basketball, rebound it, and run before the other team has a chance to really get into their half-court set defense.
GCU can solidify that 1 seed in the WAC tournament with the win on Saturday. My question to you is, who's a team out in the WAC conference that you've seen that could be the biggest threat to GCU to win the WAC this season? Who's impressed you?
Well, it's that style of play, right? It's like Seattle. Sometimes they can light up the score, but other times they can slow it. Lopes lost at Seattle earlier in the year, one of their 3 conference losses. And the teams from Texas, they play bully basketball, right? They just want to beat the heck out of their opponents, and that's not necessarily the Lopes strength. Yeah, they got some big Sidney Curry, Brennan, and McLaughlin that can bang a little bit, but after that they get kind of young and raw, so they don't really have the depth. When Brennan got in foul trouble, the two losses in Texas here recently, that's where they really struggle rebounding the ball. If they can't rebound the ball, they can't run.
Scott Williams, 3-time NBA champ with the Chicago Bulls. That's right. He's got 3 of those rings. Scott, I want to transition to the Phoenix Suns and just get your thoughts on the big 3, all 3 not playing for any contiguous amount of time. I think it's been, 3 games, if that. During that Bulls era, you guys hardly were injured because you guys seem to have that chemistry and continuity all the time. So for an NBA team, how much of a detriment will it be if this Suns team, all 3 of them, can't get on the same page for more than, I'm going to say, a week to 2 weeks at a time and develop the chemistry leading into the playoffs?
These new pros are soft. We were tougher than these guys are, man. We went out there and if we were banged up a little bit,
3.
we knew that those guys would the management try to find somebody to replace them. So we took all the needles in the knees and everything else to stay on the floor. But no, it's just kidding. I like the Suns. KD's my favorite player. Boy, has he been on a tear these last 2 ball games. He dropped 35 points in the last game. Allen's dropped 8 threes in his last 2 games. But the answer to your question is the success of this team lies on the big 3. And I know they've been together for more than 3 games. I think it's probably closer to 18 or 20, but that's just not enough. I wanted to see them, log 45 to 55 games on the floor together going into the playoffs. And I know that Booker is still probably going to be out for a little while, though they say he could play if it was the playoffs. But something like that, you don't want him to keep tweaking an ankle. You need him on 100% going into the playoffs. So
2.
We're not sure how many games that they'll have under their belt going in. But, right now, Denver, although they just beat the Nuggets, they look really good to me. I mean, this big man that they got in the middle, the Joker, the MVP candidate, in my opinion, is just too tough the way he plays out of that high post and operates that offense. I love the Suns. I'm pulling for them. I don't know if they're certainly not the favorite. I give them a puncher's chance if they can light that scoreboard up, but 121 points is nothing for the Nuggets to score. So it's going to take a phenomenal 7-game series for them to try to get past the Nuggets or the T-Wolves or Oklahoma City. But hey, I'll be down there cheering them on. That's for sure.
All right, now just stay warm back there. We're going to go get some hot chicken noodle soup. You're not used to that cold temperature. So you got, did you say BYU? Who they taking on tonight? Who they got?
Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are coming in town tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on the Big 12 Network.
Atta baby.
So actually, probably watch the GCU game because it's at the same time.
You're conflicted right now, but that's okay. The more gig. Hey, Scott, we always appreciate you taking the time. Have a good call tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Go Lopes. Go Suns.
There you go. Scotty is courtesy of Twin Peaks as the weekend gets a kickoff at Twin Peaks. Now with 5 Valley locations, Twin Peaks, your, NBA, college hoops, Major League Baseball, your sports viewing headquarters. Well, coming up next, we'll tap into what's on the tube, and there's a ton of a lot of things going on, plus our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question today. Thanks for joining us today from Wright Toyota, myself, Jax, and Shu. It's Fox Sports 910.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Rob, it isn't even get to the finals for ball. They got to win it.
Right.
They've been to the finals. Rob, they won't feel any better about getting to the finals and losing than if they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, because at some point you got to pay the piper, Chris, right?
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Today at 5, tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Valley traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
We are getting volume on the freeway drive with the 101 southbound from Chaparral down to the US 60 heavy, and standard delays on westbound I-10 from the mini stack out to 59th Avenue. Watch for a crash on Glendale Avenue east of 27th Avenue.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Offer ends 4/6. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar on the southeast corner of Cave Creek and the 101. Happy hour 7 days a week, 4 to 7, with $5.50 house wines and well drinks, $4.75 drafts, plus tons of food specials. Upper Crust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Are you looking for a change in your career path or just looking to get back into the employment market again? Look no further. All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings are in the areas of customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. If you're looking for a challenging yet rewarding opportunity, a great benefits program including 401k program with a generous company match, and a company that is a leader in the industry, apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call All City's HR department at 480-833-7278. All City Towing is Arizona's largest towing transport vehicle storage provider, locally owned and invested within the communities they service. If you enjoy helping others by providing great customer service, working as a team, and possess great communication skills, All City is for you. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278. That's allcitytowing.com.
Hi, this is Kelly Cooper. Now picture this. You and your friends or family are gathered around a table, laughing, toasting, and sharing stories. At the Melting Pot, we're not just a restaurant, we're an experience. Are you ready to glow up your next birthday celebration? Look no further than the Melting Pot, where unforgettable moments are created and delicious memories are made. The Melting Pot is your perfect night out, where birthdays become memories that last a lifetime. For reservations, check us out online at meltingpot.com. That's meltingpot.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back. You think we're this, big happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com. Meant for mornings, The Drive with Jody Ayler. Listen Monday, 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
Putting a wrap on the week out here at Wright Toyota. Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. Outstanding job by Jax out here at Wright Toyota. Shu as well. Another fine week by yourself as we put a wrap on it. It was a little football at 50. Not a whole heck of a lot going on as legal tampering, gentlemen, starts on Monday. But the only thing that's notable, there's been a few cuts, some potential signings that people are prognosticating about, if that's the word. Russell Wilson out there shopping his wares right now. I guess he's already met with the New York Giants, going to talk to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure he's going to make the round. But, I can't imagine being any more than, at this point, as a backup quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to offer. It's going to be all fascinating on Monday when, tampering, like you said, offers
legal
tampering
yes.
happens at 1 p.m. our time. But I still think it's all in Kirk Cousins' field, wherever Kirk Cousins go, and then it's, all right, let's go to the next Justin Fields. Let's go to the next Russell Wilson. And to Shoe's point earlier, it might be a case where he's meeting with all these teams, but he might not get a deal done until the summer.
Yeah, I think it could be. Well, look at Flacco last year. Flacco just hung around. He was hoping to get picked up. He's 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season. Next thing you know, he gets a call from the Cleveland Browns and does a great job of taking them to the playoffs. Also, Brian Hoyer, who was backing up in Las Vegas, is now currently on the marketplace. So, again, there are the backup quarterbacks that are out there. And big news, you got Baker Mayfield, still not signed yet, fellas. And is that a precursor of things to come? I think he does. I think those are some of the things that we'll be looking at on Monday. Where they can legally sign is all the contracts will be on Wednesday. That's the first official signing day as far as that's concerned. Take the points tomorrow from 11 to 1, and that comes after Backspin the Golf Show from 9 to 11. Jax, who you tag teaming with tomorrow over there at Casino Arizona?
Yeah, it's going to be me and Ben Garcia through the airwaves. He'll be at iHeartRadio Studio. I'll be at CAZ Sports Bar. We're going to talk all things college basketball, a ton of college basketball games going on tomorrow. You got Duke, UNC, you got Houston, Kansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, a bunch of NBA. We got NFL, all of that tomorrow, 11 to 1. It'll be a good show.
How's your Montana team going to do in the Big Sky tournament this weekend?
We'll see. They don't play until Tuesday because of how it works. It's like the lowest seeds play, and it's they get like a 2-week bye or 2-game bye. So there'll be a 2 or 3 seed in the Big Sky tournament. Them, Eastern Washington. It'll be a fun tournament to watch. I kind of like watching those mid-major tournaments, being a college basketball nerd myself.
All right, so we also got also on tap the Red Wings at the Coyotes tonight. That's on TV. It'll be Channel 61. That'll be a direct, and then Cox 95 as well tomorrow night, folks. 6:30 on national TV, over-the-air TV on ABC. It's the Suns taking on the Celtics. That tip-off is going to be at 6:30. That's right there, dinner time. Make your dinner, get your barbecue, get everything all settled to go, and kind of get your dinner tray right there in front of your favorite couch, your favorite chair, and you can watch this Phoenix Suns team. And I don't know, guys, this might be a precursor, maybe, hopefully, of things to come. Who knows? I think right now you look at the Boston Celtics. A lot of folks saying they are the lead dog in the NBA East. The Suns not quite the lead dog, but anything can happen. Maybe something circa 1976 when the Suns took on then the Boston Celtics, and the Celtics beat us. Our very first, that being the Suns NBA championship title. What kind of game are you looking for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think Porzingis versus Nurkic, some of the individual matchups is what I'm looking forward to seeing. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're going to be angry from, yesterday's loss against the Nuggets. How do they match up against Beal and Durant? And the biggest question, can Grayson Allen stay hot? 2 games in a row. Are we going to see him shoot more? 7, 8? Is he going to get to 9? How much more can you get in the first quarter?
Well, think about it. He made 6 in a row against Denver. And he made in the first quarter, and then made 7 in a row last night against the Toronto Raptors. So if you're going to get Grayson Allen the ball, get it to him early and often because he's hot coming out. And again, I don't expect Booker back until maybe, next Wednesday when they take on the Celtics in Boston. They'll hit the road after tonight. And from that standpoint, if he's still struggling a little bit, not that he couldn't play if this was the playoffs, but if he's still struggling from that standpoint, get him going from that particular standpoint. Hey, our State 48 Roofing, it's your call question of the day. You can still go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. With the NFL free agency starting on Monday, or legal tampering, what position should be the Arizona Cardinals' priority? Again, go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Is it defensive line, Is it offensive line? Is it cornerback? Or is it wide receiver? Well, so far, folks, 35.7% say cornerback should be their priority, followed by 28.6% for defensive line, and then offensive line, 21.4%, and last but not least, wide receiver, 14.3%, which I assume a lot of folks are probably thinking the Cardinals will address that in the draft and not worry about that so much in free agency.
Yeah, this class is deep. You look at some of the guys up top, Marvin Harrison Jr., if he gets selected before Malik Neighbors, you've got Rome Odunze, but you also got guys that are starting to trend up like Brian Thomas Jr., or those who are in favor of the 40, a Xavier Worthy. You go down below, maybe a Keon Coleman, ran a 4.640, not what people expected from Florida State. He could slip in the second round. And then you got some local products, either Jacob Cowling from Arizona or a guy I'm super high on, Ricky Pearsall Jr. Look out for him as another slot guy. Rondell Moore, I don't know what the future is for him. Maybe you get a guy like Ricky Pearsall and pair him up with Greg Dortch.
Yeah, there is. It's going that whole wide receiver thing. This is
it's about 25 deep, and about 10 or 11 can go in the first round.
And you look at the top three. Look at the top three. And you go, even though Marvin Harrison Jr. is the marquee, so to speak, but I look at the other two. They're both dudes as well too. So it's kind of like pick your poison. And I can't imagine the Cardinals passing on number 4 if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. Matter of fact, I mean, I'm sure that they will take him unless they got a couple of dudes earmarked to trade down. But I think it's going to be the interesting factor that's going to be part of that area, that scenario leading up to the draft in Detroit.
Yeah, and it's not attractive, and I'll throw it to shoot. The position being the offensive tackle, that's another position group that's very deep, and I know they went tackle last year with Paris Johnson. Fans won't like it, but it might be the move they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they need to decide what they're doing with DJ Humphries, and then once they make that decision, then the new decision they have to make is going to be, are we going to move Paris Johnson back to his normal position at left tackle? Because they made him their starting right tackle this year, and I would really strongly advise against asking him to then flip back to the other side. Make him your right tackle, and if you're going to draft somebody in the draft to be your left tackle, make that person your left tackle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that he's accustomed to that right side, and even though his natural position is the left side, he's been there. He's got that all pretty much down pat if you go down that route, because DJ Humphries technically won't be ready until like November, December. And that would be like the 9th or 10th month as far as coming back from that reconstructive surgery. I want to thank special guest, Chris Dobertine, in reference to bracketology happening already. Scott Spreitzer, as you heard from, and just go to @ScottWins or DocSports.com, and you just heard Scotty Williams, who is the TV color analyst for your GCU Lopes. I want to thank all the folks out here at Wright Toyota. Great job all week, Shu, back there at the studio. Jax, great job coming